What up, what up? It's your boy C. Diddy. This week's episode of the realest podcast ever is sponsored by Another Planet Barbershop. Follow them on Instagram at APBSLLC. That's APBSLLC. Another Planet Barbershop LLC.com. Do you desire a new look? Are you looking for a highest rated hair service in Philadelphia? Do you prefer a female barber? If so, make sure you contact her today at Another Planet Barbershop LLC.com to get your cut, your new look, or whatever you're trying to go for. They're located right in the heart of Philly on South Street, 808 South Street, first floor. That's Another Planet Barbershop. You can follow on Instagram at APBSLLC.
The realest podcast ever. The realest podcast ever. Y'all used to hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to bait me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I'ma have me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it. Your homies on it. Y'all used to hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to debate me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I'ma have me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it. Your homies on it. The realest podcast ever. The realest podcast ever. The realest podcast ever.
There we go. Finally caught it again.
The realest podcast ever.
What up, what up? We are back after a brief week off. Can you turn up my whatever? I don't even know what to call it at this point. I can't hear shit.
What number are you?
Oh, I'm all the way over at 2 now. They always touching
this
shit.
is 2?
Yeah. Cut it up to like the middle. Hello? There we go. That's good.
Okay. What am I?
Yeah, they always...
You know what's crazy is the numbers move. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Like one week I'm 7.
Yeah.
And then you're like 4.
Yeah, I don't know what they're like, who's touching shit when we ain't here, but they're apparently...
Like, I don't understand why the headphones are moving through different jacks. I can understand the headphones moving around, but why are they plugged to different jacks?
Exactly. That makes no sense.
Because this is always in 7.
And now it's an 8.
7 goes... Yeah, see?
Yeah, and
that
now,
doesn't make any sense.
and now you're in 8 for some reason.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, whatever. Realest podcast ever. We are back after a brief yet announced week off. I actually had somebody hit me up, was like, y'all could have said y'all wasn't going to have a show last week. I'm like, we actually said it in the show.
I had 2 people
the week before. You didn't listen to the end. They like, well, you could have said hi first, motherfucker. Like, it turned into some whole other shit.
Our listeners are nuts. Because it's like... They'll ask you something that was clearly acknowledged.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Stated.
Clearly.
Like wholeheartedly. Like from beginning to end. And you be looking.
We even gave a reason why we weren't going to be here.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about that shit.
Yeah, whatever you was talking about.
You better get on social media and announce that you're not going to be on the pod, even though you announced that you wasn't going to be on the pod. But we need a social media announcement also.
Social media is getting stranger and stranger.
Yo, I literally have a hate relationship with social media.
Like, I
had a tweet yesterday. I said, corny chicks got the ball on social media. And they've actually had it for quite a while now. They're an annoying species of women that are dominating social media right now.
an annoying species of everyone is dominating the Instagram airwaves, in particularly. Twitter is like, you know.
Twitter is a black hole at this point. Like, yeah. And it's
crazy because you really can't.
You can't say anything about anything.
We both got. How about that? We didn't even talk about that. We both got fucking
suspended.
We both got suspended
12 hours.
I think mine was closer to like 8.
Okay,
my
joint was 12. And here's the thing, right? We talk about like the technology. Like, nobody's reporting you.
Right.
It's the technology that scans for certain hate speech and shit like that.
I don't know exactly what tweet it was. I
know what my tweet was.
I thought it was the retarded jump because I called this chick retarded.
That'll do it.
And then I was like, y'all are he-tarded with an R. And I tried to like save it, but it didn't work. But then I also called somebody some niggas with an ER. So I'm like, I don't know which one.
That'll do it.
It was one of the two. But I came back to my Twitter and it was like, your page is locked.
Yeah.
Report to twitter.com. The official. I was like, what the fuck,
The first thing they do is make you delete the tweet. It's like, that's the contrition. Like, all right, I'm sorry, I'm going to delete the tweet. But yeah.
My one actually got deleted when those tweets were, both of them were gone. So I don't know which one was.
Yeah, well, I was beefing with my girl last week prior to me going to Miami. And I was talking to Nick, talking to Sachi, and I basically said I was gonna throw off the balcony when I got there. 12 hours suspension. I'm like, man, I wasn't really gonna do it. Like, nobody cares about this shit. Yeah, 12 hours suspension, bucko. I can only DM people. It's like Twitter jail.
I remember my dog had like ripped a hole in the trash. Cause I took the trash out of the can and forgot to take it out with me.
Yeah.
So I came back, the trash was like, it was a hole in it. You know, dogs are fucking nuts. And I was like, I forgot. I tweeted something along the lines of, my dog got one more time before I go full Frankie Lyman. And somebody like had like quoted the tweet and was like, I hope you don't mean the scene where he hung the dog out the window and dropped it. And I was just like, huh? And then the next thing you know, it was like, it was like, I mean, that's clearly what I was talking about. But it was like 9 tweets that fast on top of it. Like, oh, people think animal abuse is fun. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, it was a joke.
Listen,
like,
over the weekend, I was listening to an old Opie and Anthony episode about hate speech. And Patrice was breaking that shit down so beautifully about like, why am I not allowed to hate you in speech?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not going to come to your house and punch you in the face, but if you do something that's annoying, I should be allowed to speak on it publicly and call you out for what you did. But all these different groups, and he was calling them cartels, have various like protection under this or that you can't say shit about them. So It's like the gays, the Jews, like you can't say shit about nobody except like black people. Like you can say whatever fuck you want about black people. Nobody gives a shit. And he was just basically like, yo, like it's like an abuse of power because the First Amendment gives you freedom of speech, and they've completely just stripped that from us because nobody wants to be the butt of the joke, and the shit is annoying at this point. Like, nobody can take a joke. I saw a John yesterday. People been going in on Bobby Shmurda all week about his terrible outfit, and this girl was like, I just find it funny how y'all are harassing a man trying to assimilate back into society, and it had like 10,000 likes and 4,400 retweets, and I'm just like, it was a joke.
Yeah, man.
Like, you can't joke about. We can't even joke about your clothes.
No.
If you look ridiculous, I can't even tell you look ridiculous without somebody bringing the pitchforks out.
Yeah. And I think back to like, you know, jokes as a kid. It just you can't like beat kids no more
At all.
Like, yeah, like if your parents touch you, it's grounds for like a civil suit.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy. Like, I could legally...
Tamir Washington versus his parents.
I saw this shit the other day. The girl, she had a boyfriend. The parents didn't like the boyfriend. She was 16. This little bitch was suing her parents because they wouldn't let her be with the boyfriend of her choice. So she was suing them. She didn't want to fully emancipate because then she would have basically been on her own.
Yeah.
But she was suing them for what it would cost for her to live in another domicile.
Where she could see the boyfriend uninterrupted.
Right. And I'm like, how the fuck did y'all get in a courtroom for this?
Yeah, we would have just got punched in the face and sent to our room.
Like, what, man?
There's nothing to talk about.
Dog, they was in a real courtroom with a real judge and a real little lady with the little typewriter.
And the judge was like, I'll allow it.
Yo, and the shit. But they eventually, the case got dismissed and she moved back in the house. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
You dragged your legal guardians to court over this frivolous nonsense.
Like, how does your dinner not have cyanide in it? Like, how do you just get to go back home and live?
Holy shit, man.
Like, could you imagine taking your parents to court? Like, no, y'all gonna fund my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I'm taking y'all to court. And then that don't work out. And you just back in the crib like, what we eating on?
Taco Tuesday.
Hey, man, shoot. Like, I tried. Like,
You was like, you know what? Now that judge dismissed my
Dog.
case without precedent, I want to say that I probably overreacted
Yo.
in taking y'all to court.
like,
You have to submit a legal brief in order to get into civil court.
like,
Who read this and was like, I'll allow it?
an attorney saw this and was like, I'm gonna take your case.
Excellent case. Pro bono.
Yeah.
Just give me a small retainer and I'll allow it. Like And that's how you know, that case right there is how you know there are too many attorneys.
Dog.
We don't need, I was explaining that shit to somebody about 3 months ago. We don't need no more attorneys for at least like 14 years.
I can vividly remember I was like 13 or 14 and I said something and my dad, no bullshit. And my pop 6'5", 3, like, this is for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my pop jumped up and like smacked the shit out of me, like right here. Like I'm talking about like the over the top right. Smacked the shit out of me, and I'm like crying. I'm like, what? Like, and I dead ass was like, I'm calling 911, and he threw the phone at me, and I didn't. In hindsight, it was just like the nigga threw the device.
Yeah, call him.
Call him.
You gotta stay here till they get here.
Right.
Call them.
The payphone is gone at the end of the block. Like, call them. Like, yeah, and it's just like that was dead. That's how it was. Like, I remember my mom walking around with like a little belt in her purse.
Just in case.
Just in case. Got my chapstick, got my whip ass. Just in case shit get thick while we out here at the store.
Yeah, I remember one time, I was a pretty good kid. I didn't get a lot of beatings, but I remember one time my mom beat me with a shoe. I did some crazy shit like, I was like wrestling and broke my grandmother's bed frame or some shit I couldn't afford to pay for.
Remember when you
Mom
would get
beat
hit
me
with
a
anything?
Like beat me with a shoe. Like remember them brown, like them loafers that was sandals? They had
that little hill, that little half-inch hill.
Beat me with that, Joan. Wah, 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 wah.
Yo,
about 7 good strikes with that shit.
Same fucking sandal she asked you to buckle 3 days before. Come buckle this real quick. Like real shit. I remember the game. Well, not game, but like it was a paddle with a ball and a string on it.
Yes.
And you have to hit it up in the air. You remember that shit? I won one of them at the carnival over on Island Avenue. And I remember I brought the shit home and a couple of days later wound up getting into some shit and my dad hit me with that joint. And I'm like, why the fuck I even bring this shit in the house? like dog. Like you can't beat your kids now. You can't yell at them. That shit is crazy.
Like the Jackson 5 story is like 97 parts. The first 91 is Joe telling them to go get a switch so he could beat their ass with it.
Joe made Jackie stack cinder blocks. Like he had a big ass mound of cinder blocks solely for when you in trouble, you got to move them from here to there. And then when you in trouble again, you move them back.
What is this teaching me?
Like dog.
Responsibility.
Old parents' dad had like what they call it, like torturous methods and shit like that. Like they dead ass used to just whip ass. That was what it was. And it just where we are now, you can't yell at a kid. You can't none of that shit. Like it just kids have like rights.
Yeah.
Like kids dead ass have rights.
I was watching this video on the way over here. This mother, she never got on the screen, but she walk in a room. Her 12-year-old daughter got her bare ass. They obviously don't show the bare ass, but her 12-year-old daughter got her bare ass out twerking on Snapchat.
Oh, wow.
And her mom catches her. So now the mom got like a decision to make. Like, do I embarrass you or do I beat the shit out of you and go to jail? And she's just like making her repeat like all this ridiculous shit as a way to embarrass her to send a message to the Snapchat community.
Now that John, I'm all for whipping ass. That's cool. But the going on Instagram Live or posting on social media that like repeat after me, I will not suck dick. It's just them Jones.
It's like my mother raised me.
Yeah, it's like them Jones are cringeworthy. I can't fuck with them.
But the mom is like in her message, she's acknowledging like I want to beat your ass, but I can't because I'll go to jail.
Like I've seen a mom hop to the point where I can't even watch them Jones no more because they make me like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The mom will hop right on the screen and be like, "This is Tajane," because it's always a weird ass name. "This is Tajane. She 13. Y'all niggas talking to her. She only 13 years old. She won't be sucking no dick. She won't be giving up no pussy, right?" And I ain't giving up no pussy. You like turn this shit off, man. Like what the fuck is happening?
Like this is not working.
This is bad parenting. Like hit her with a pot and be a real parent. Like this shit is
hit
awful.
her with 3 uppercuts and just keep this shit off the net.
Punch her in the fucking throat and then go on with your day. This is bad parenting. I can't fuck with that. That shit is cringeworthy.
Yeah, it's to the point where like parents gonna have to like start learning pressure points and shit like that. Like areas that you could karate chop a motherfucker and it don't bruise.
Was it Patrice O'Neal was like, you hit him on the top of the head so don't leave no bruises? Real shit.
They trying to explain to the
Yeah,
cop,
yeah, you got
move. It's right here at the top. You ever played officer? You ever played Donkey Kong? She hit me like that.
Speaking of which, getting into some of the rundown, did you see Patrice O'Neal's documentary?
No.
Oh my God. Did you watch it at all?
No, I got that on my watch list.
Dog, it's phenomenal. It's really, really good. It's basically called Anybody Could Kill. That's the name of it.
Killing is easy.
Killing is easy. Because he would always say anybody could kill. That's the easy part of comedy.
Yeah.
So basically, it follows him through, he's actually talking in it. So it's like, he's not on it, of course, because he's passed away. Yeah. But it basically follows him and he's, they're using parts from interviews that he did or whatever. So they got everybody on there. Yeah. All his peoples that he was with, Jay Moore, fucking Kevin Hart, Kevin Robinson, Norton, all of them from the fucking radio show, his fiance, everybody. And
she's a comedian now.
Yeah, she's really, really good too. But basically, it talks about how everybody who's anybody that was in comedy, like, and all of them, Kevin Hart, Chris Rock, all of them, Kevin Hart was like, meeting him was like the best thing ever for me, but it was also the scariest thing ever for me because it was like, damn, I'm not better than this dude. Yeah. And everybody was like, the one boy who was like, he was the best comedian in Boston. He's like, the first night I saw Patrice O'Neal get on at the Laugh Room was just like, damn, I'm the second best comedian in Boston now.
Damn.
And literally, he was like, he just came from such a place that was like so authentic and so just like real. So they were showing his old shit, and Patrice O'Neal was like, I don't litter. And people were clapping, and he was like, relax. Let me explain why I don't litter. I don't give a fuck about the earth. It's the earth. Who gives a fuck? He's like, my thing is, I always have a fear of like drinking a can of soda and then like throwing it over my shoulder and it roll down a hill and land next to a dead white woman. And then was doing shit like this. He was like, they pick up the can and they get my DNA and then they see me like, this big nigga.
Open the shit case.
I got it. But he was doing shit like that. And it's just like, he was just so, he was a big ass nigga. Yeah. Like he was 6'5", 350, so he was huge. And Kevin Hart was like, he rubbed so many people the wrong way. Like, we all knew getting into comedy, like most people have a goal of, I want to do stand-up comedy, then I want to get into sitcoms, maybe get into movies, and make some money, get my own specials and, be able to do my thing. He's like, Patrice O'Neal really didn't give a fuck about none of that. In fact, he like hated the shit. You know what I'm saying? So basically, when it came time, with comedians, the big thing is like getting your own special, and then eventually turning that into a situation with a network where they give you like a holding deal where like, we're going to create a sitcom around you or we're going to write a film around you. And he was like, literally like, Patrice O'Neal had every fucking major company wanting to do, because he's fucking brilliant and great.
He wouldn't play the game.
And he would not play the. So they were showing his first attempt at doing a pilot. This motherfucker. He basically was doing the show was called How to Deal with White People. And the shit started, it was like, hi, I'm Patrice O'Neal. I've been dealing with these crackers my whole life. So what the fuck? And in the background, it was a white dude juggling. It was another white dude being a man. It's like, I've been dealing with they goofy asses my whole life.
That's funny.
It was just crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
And they was just like the Norton was saying that like we would go into meetings and like all the execs would be hype as shit to want to work with him. And he was like, as the meeting went on and Patrice would start talking, he was like, you could see the faces just like, we can't have him on a set every day, because he just was that raw and that ridiculous. But it follows him through the whole diabetes situation and how his life eventually ended. It's a really, really good documentary.
I gotta check that out. My favorite Patrice O'Neal story, Kevin Hart said, I was at the Laugh Factory.
Is this the phone books?
The phone
Dog,
book.
they was talking about that shit on there.
He said, man, he said, I'm up there, so I'm telling some joke, and it's like something about AIDS or some shit.
Dog.
He's like, here goes, something go flap. He said it was a phone book.
They talked about it on there. So Norton was like, we were at the comedy spot. Kevin Hart gets on stage. He's like, this is Kevin Hart's first appearance in New York. And Kevin Hart is like, normally when you get heckled by, people. Like
Yeah.
he's like, so for me to get heckled by the nigga who's going on stage next is just nuts. But Kevin Hart said, I'm on the stage, and he was like, you know how you can just feel something coming at you? He was like, I could feel like just this wind, and I looked up like, what the fuck? Boom! Fucking Yellow Pages hit the back of the stage, and he was like, I looked out like, what the fuck? And he was like, Patrice O'Neal loud as shit over the crowd was like, pick that phone book up, call any number you can find, and ask them if you made the right decision with this comedy thing. I was like, what? like Patrice O'Neal was nuts. He was insane. But yeah, it's like, and they get into the radio show. That's the part that's really dope.
Yeah.
They get into the radio show and him doing the
Like Phillip.
the what?
Like Phillip show?
What was the name of it? The show when they would be on the stage on the couches.
Oh, you talking about the Web Junk show?
No, he was talking about how he didn't even like Web Junk because it made him like too famous to the point where like people felt comfortable coming up to him and being like, oh, you the Web Junk guy. And he was like, people would come to my comedy show and be like, this isn't the stuff you do on Web Junk. And he was like, cuz, bitch, that's not me. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't like the whole conforming to anything. But they talked about the radio show and they talked about the, I can't think of the name of the shit. Tough Crowd. There you go. Thank you. They talk because that was Colin Quinn and them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They talked about that shit and how like other comedians and other fans of other comedians would almost be like, he talks more than anybody and this and the third. But Colin Quinn and all of them was like, well, he's better than everybody. So it's like, yeah, we want him, like his opinions and his views and just
Like I came here for Rich Voss. What is this shit?
you know what I'm saying? Like, and he's just like, nah, he's really, really that good at doing everything. Like even down to like just little bullshit opinions. It was phenomenal stuff. And it's just like, yeah, like Patrice really, really like seeing everybody on that John, like it's borderline a shame that he didn't get the worldwide recognition that he deserved because he was really, and Kevin Hart and him was just like, I never seen him write nothing. Damn. He's like, we would be in the back and everybody would be writing this and writing their jokes and this, that, and the third. And he would literally just be like, yeah, I think I'm going to just talk about this and just go the fuck out there. He had one joint where he was like, nothing bothers me more than like when, because you've seen his fiance. She was nice. Yeah. He's like, nothing on earth bothers me. And I know this because I've dealt with this shit. He's like, when other fat people see you and they see your lady and be like, all right, big dog, I see you, represent. And he was like, no, I'm not the fucking leader of fat people. He was like, y'all got me like, now I'm like fucking Malcolm XXL because I gotta fucking walk around as the fucking, the leader of fat guys. And he's like, that shit is like, he just, everything he did was just brilliant. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a real good documentary.
Yeah, no, I gotta check that. I'm gonna watch that tonight, man. I love
Speaking of good documentaries, before we can start with, like I said, with the rundown. Yeah. Have you gotten into Hip Hop Uncovered?
I finished it.
Oh, I haven't. I'm 3 episodes in.
Yeah, I finished it.
Listen,
it's
all
so
our listeners,
fucking good.
If you like hip hop, if you like street shit, if you like nonsense, if you like
redemption stories,
listen, it's phenomenal.
They literally like, other than like the Hip Hop Unlocked or whatever. What's the one on Netflix?
That's the thing I think T was talking about because we was talking about it earlier.
There was one on Netflix where they basically went through all the regions and
Hip Hop Evolution.
Evolution.
Because that was one where they was talking about the ATL with the
ATL. Then they did the New Orleans bounce and all that.
Yeah.
So this particular Hip Hop Uncovered, this particular joint covers from the 70s to 2020. Mm-hmm. It touches on the street culture element of it. Mm-hmm. Gang culture in LA, literally the evolution from like these neighborhood gangs into the Bloods and Crips and the sets and all of that. How that,
like knowing that the 60s wasn't even the 60s.
It was the Avalon boys.
No, Arlington
boys. Yeah. So it's like, and the way that transformed into this, and then the fact that Big U story and Deb's story alone makes it possibly like top 3 best hip hop documentaries ever. Have you gotten to the parts of like how deep they got in the Deb story about like her dad using her as like a mule?
That was part
all
2.
Of that and all of that shit, and her getting shot and the whole shit,
covering herself in heroin and shit.
Yeah, crazy shit.
Like Big U is on my list of people I want to sit down and interview.
Phenomenal, man.
Yeah, and he just he got like a gazillion fucking stories and shit.
Yeah.
So it's like. I read into it because I didn't watch it all yet, but just, reading the shit. Yeah. He goes into him and Nip and all of that. I didn't even realize they weren't fucking with each other at one point.
Yeah, they allegedly had a whole like a melee.
Yeah, like a whole, it went down.
Over some studio equipment.
Yeah. And then they said that Nip hit him up like, yo, let's squash all that shit, whatever. Because there was supposed to be like some rumors of him with the whole death and all this bullshit. Yeah. And it's just like, it's a wild ride. So it follows 5 people. Deb, which is Waka Flocka's mom. Yeah. Her brother, Bemi, which is a fucking Supreme Team member.
Yeah, he was like third in charge of Supreme Team.
Yeah, he was behind Prince and Black Just.
Yeah.
And then it was Haitian Jack, Trick, and Big U. Trick is funny as shit.
Yeah.
Trick is hilarious.
When you get to the end, we'll talk about it again on the next show. Trick's turnaround is the craziest shit ever in the history of hip hop. Like,
well, I know about all of this shit with like his deal that he had, and it kind of went left because they kind of fucked him up with the release of his first joint. And all. I know about that. I know about the shit with Eminem. Yeah. I knew about all the shit with the chain, of course. Right, you know what I'm saying? That whole nonsense.
It's some whole other shit. Yeah. Like, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's some whole, like, I had no idea. Like,
now, one thing I didn't realize was that Bemi was so close with Run DMC.
Right.
To the point where, like, he was on stage at the fucking Joan Rivers.
Tour with Run DMC.
Yeah, like, he was really, really with them. And it's crazy because I'm watching it and it's just like, yo, what they did to Irv was complete bullshit.
Yeah.
It was complete bullshit.
Just made it up.
Because for years it all ran so hand in hand. Like, it was just, you hear Snoop and that's the part that's really decent about this documentary, is they have so many real deal, like Snoop, Dr. Dre, T.I., Corey Rooney,
Wiz Khalifa,
everybody on that motherfucker. And Dre is like, or I think it was Snoop, was like, if it wasn't for the drug dealers, like the big time crack dealers, we don't get hip hop as we know it. Because when hip hop started, Rappers Delight, it was Sylvia Robinson and her husband, and that was it. It was like, there were no tours, he was like, the expansion of it going national is where you saw like, oh, Run DMC's coming to LA? Well, y'all better make sure y'all link up with these niggas because it's this war going on. And they talked about how the Run DMC and Houdini concert got shut the fuck down because it was an all-out melee between the gangs.
The 60s and somebody else.
I think it was the 60s, 4 Trays, the Hoovers, all this crazy shit. And Big U was like, I was just out there swinging for the fences. Jermaine Dupri was like, man, I was there. Like, I was on stage. Like, yo, what the fuck? And they had to shut the concert down. And so then it gets into like the whole Detroit shit with the Rick Ross thing. Like, no, turn this truck around. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all not coming in this joint. Like, and certain points I wish it would have got a little deeper.
Yeah, I think that they are setting it up almost like as an introductory story to do additional Jones on certain people. Like Big U for sure.
Big U is the executive producer.
Right. So I know he has another series
play
coming about. The fact that he was talking about the fact that he had like 15 players in the NFL that came through his football program. 1,500 got Division I scholarships that's playing in college. I'm just like, damn, like this dude really changed the narrative, like flipped his whole fucking life around. And his son now is playing Division I college football somewhere also. They get into that later on.
It's crazy to think that they filmed Boys in the Hood on his block.
Literally.
Like nuts. You know what I mean? Like, it's a really, really good joint. Like I said, I'm 3 episodes in, it's 6 parts. So
excellent. If y'all haven't watched that, watch it. Super well done, tasteful, because the right people were in charge of the production and not just showing up as talent and telling a story. So check out Hip Hop Uncovered.
Haitian Jack's story is nuts too.
I'll say this about Haitian Jack. You gotta take everything Jack say with a grain of salt. Jack, the one key thing that I saw in everybody on the show except Jack was humility. Jack has gotten deported and he still don't have no humility whatsoever. None.
I want to say it's like the Napoleon thing, maybe. But I mean, in his defense, that nigga had he was fucking Madonna. Like,
True.
it's hard to be humble when you stunting on the jumbotron. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. And like he still, from all intents and purposes, has like a really good life.
Yeah, for sure.
He looked healthy, clean. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He had a nice AP on.
Yeah, real nice. You know what I mean? Like, it just.
I just like, to me, it felt like he was telling his Pac stories with a super slant to him. For two reasons. One, Pac is not here to defend himself. Two, nobody on earth wants to talk to Suge Knight ever again.
Right.
So when you surround it on a docuseries with your friends, Benny's your friend, Big U is your friend, like you surround and Deb is a proponent for you.
Right.
Nobody's not coming with a dissenting opinion to be like, maybe that didn't happen like that. You kind of are the reason Tupac got locked up. Like, it's easy to say, like, oh, we caught a bullshit case when you ain't the most famous nigga in the room,
right.
and the girls say it was his fault.
Right.
I came to see Tupac. All right, cool. That's all the DA need at that point.
Right.
I came to see Tupac. Well, what about the other two niggas that actually, like, raped you? No, fuck them. We going at the Tupac. Like,
yeah.
So it's like, it's easy for him to look back and be like, oh, it was a bullshit case. We could have beat that. You did beat it because
You wasn't Tupac.
you wasn't Tupac, nigga. And you were the cause of the shit.
It is crazy that we were talking about earlier, like knowing what we know now about the Pac shooting at Quad, like knowing that, like, you know, it wasn't Biggie.
At all.
Not
even 1%.
Like, not a percentile. Like, knowing that Biggie
it's
was...
like the Patrice O'Neal shit. Like, the
can roll down the fucking hill.
You
Yeah.
in the studio.
Exactly.
He going to the 38th floor. You on the 42nd. He get hit the fuck up. Now it's you.
But you blatantly know, it was, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it just make you look at Pac a little bit like, dog, you riled up a whole nation.
You perpetuated a beef to sell records.
Like, you... At the end of the day, and we just gotta keep it a buck, Pac lost his life because he started doing gang shit and wasn't no gang member.
Absolutely.
And we know that to be like
factual.
98% fact. You was running around with them boys. You got started fucking around with them boys.
Tattoo MOB on your fucking arm, all that shit. You start banging the hood that you wasn't from.
You know, and looking back on it, it's like, so Pac, whatever. But Biggie, for sure, on that bullshit. Being in LA, Pac had just got killed, emotions still running high. Yeah. All of that behind the scenes shit that went on, bodyguards getting beat to death, motherfuckers' mama's addresses getting ripped down, people getting peed on
Big
and drinking pee.
Killed.
We never gonna forget that.
Big Jake got killed in Atlanta, which was Suge right-hand man.
Yeah.
Like, all of that shit.
And it just to see that it was all like, nah.
Yeah.
And like Nas even said it, like when they stepped to Pac in New York, like, no, I'm just like on some selling record shit though.
Yeah. Because you can't successfully beef with everybody.
No.
That doesn't work. It catches up with you in a snap. So it was just like that part. So it's like Pac did a lot of weird shit. However, the angle that Haitian Jack is like taking on Pac just to completely shit on him, I don't think that's fair either.
No.
It's like, call him out for the weird shit that he did, but be accountable for your role in where your relationship went left also.
Right.
He's trying to make it like, oh, it was just all about Madonna liked me over Pac because I was a real G, which may be true, but that ain't the reason y'all all the way fell out. Like,
Madonna went to go visit him in jail though, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So again, that's the slant shit, like with Jack, to where it's like, shut up, Jack.
Yeah.
And aside from that, your right-hand man in photos, represented on the Unsolved series, represented in every retelling of the Biggie and Pac beef, was Jimmy Henchman, James Roseman. Mm-hmm. He is verified in federal court as an informant from 1997 that we can prove. You doing all this gangster shit with Jimmy Henchman and you ain't never fucking went to jail? Aside from the little penny ante bullshit skid bid that ultimately got you deported? Tupac might have frivolously called you a snitch, but you were hanging with a snitch every day for 15 years before anything happened to you.
Yeah.
And that situation was above everybody's pay grade, where it was like, all right, Jack, we had enough of your shit. It's time for you to go. And you had another card to play to stay in the States, which was, oh, well, I served in the Army for the United States. How y'all going to... But you were hanging with a rat every day doing gangster shit. Yeah. So either you're complicit in what he's doing, or you just the luckiest gangster of all time.
Right.
And I don't know that you're the luckiest gangster of all time.
Henchman is back out though, right?
No, Henchman got a zillion life sentences.
Who am I thinking about that just got released? He was fucked up with the COVID. He got pardoned.
Who? Oh,
I'm thinking about Harry O.
Harry O.
I'm mixing Harry O with Henchman.
Jimmy Henchman is never getting out of jail. Jimmy Henchman got a murder for hire charge.
Yeah. I was mixing Harry O with Henchman.
All right, so the Jimmy Henchman shit. Him and 50, he was managing Game at the time. He basically put it in. Jimmy Henchman is from that Supreme era.
Yeah.
He's cool with Supreme and all them. So, Supreme,
did you know 50 Cent is on the cover, on the back of Rakim Paid in Full?
The real 50 Cent.
The real 50 Cent.
Yeah. The real 50 Cent, Puerto Rican Supreme. Yeah.
Like, I guess I just missed that all these years. Like, oh, shit, that really was 50.
Yeah, they were with the Brooklyn Mob.
Yeah. That's what he was saying. Like,
Eric B was
everybody in that picture is Stone Cold Street legends. And it's just Eric B and Rakim with him. But, that was
Eric B was like third in charge of the Brooklyn Mob.
He was like, that's how close this shit was. Because he was like, basically, it was like, yo, the drug dealers who was getting all the money was like, yo, I can back the rapper and back the play and have the rappers come to my party and have LL and Houdini and this and the third, Curtis Blow and all this shit. And then they saw it and was like, shit, I could manage a rapper and really, really put some shit together. Then they was just like, man, fuck it, I'm about to put some bars out. So he was like, that's how close it ran, like it was hand in hand. Like
and this how deep Eric B street ties ran. When Suge came to the East Coast and wanted to do Death Row East, Eric B was the president.
Yeah.
Eric, because nobody fucks with Eric B. So it's just like, all right, nobody. Never. And Eric B still mega rich to this day, driving the newest Benz, all that shit. Like, Eric B is a different individual. Like, did you check out him on Flip the Script podcast?
I saw it, but didn't watch it.
It's one of the best interviews ever. Like, and he's just like, the whole time he's like, because Flip is annoying as fuck. He's like, yo, I don't talk to nobody. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just super secret. He's like, yo, I don't talk to anybody, right? Like,
it's some motherfuckers like that where you can just look at them and kind of like sense it. Where it's like they don't look to be on the Joan with it. They don't look to be in everybody's face and going through every little fucking media platform and this, that, and the third. That's why motherfuckers like act too cool, or it'd be like, for what? You're on every fucking media platform possible.
I knew Eric B was a super goon when he said, yeah, I mean, it was no real issues between me and Rakim. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was straight business. We was 50-50 partners. I'm like, you were the DJ. This one of the 5.
Rakim number 6 maybe on all-time list.
It's like one of the 8 greatest MCs of all time. You 50-50 partners with this nigga. Like, how?
Well, we killed that last track that you wrote.
Yeah, we killed that shit,
we smoked that joint. Like, yeah, man. That shit is crazy. But yeah, it's a very, very good documentary. And like I said, it really, really shows you the underground, the underlying thing that's there, and even carries on to the new hip hop. Yeah. Like, even when you look at these new crews, Cash Money, QC, it's literally Bad Boy. Yeah. Like, I know we all looked at Puff and like, oh, Puff be dancing and shiny gators, and Puff was running around with like the toughest motherfuckers out.
I don't personally know, but a friend of mine is cool with a nigga. He locked up right now, but that was basically like a BMF affiliate. And he was just like, this is his exact word. He said, oh, Puff is a sissy, but he's a gangster. He's like, he'll beat you the fuck up, he'll get you murdered, whatever. He's like, Puff is a gangster. He's like, and people don't fuck with him like for a reason. Like, Suge was calling himself trying to like press a line and sell records and this because him and Puffy was friends. He's like, but he knew who Puff had with him. He's like, even before the South Side all that got involved, he had Zip and Wolf and all. Them niggas is real gangsters. Like, Suge knew better. He just was feeling himself. You know what I'm saying? But no, Puff, and it's crazy because out of all of that destruction and mayhem, Puff came out the cleanest out of everybody.
All the time.
Puff a billionaire. He got a beautiful family. Like
every time. Like, it just didn't matter what was going on. Like, I'm going to walk out of
because
this.
Because he understood the long game. And he knew, like, all right, if I do this, then this. Like, he was thinking 7, 8, 9 steps ahead. Yeah. Whereas a nigga like Suge is just thinking in the moment. Like, I got the mob. We going to fuck some niggas up.
I'm going to run this nigga over with this big-ass truck.
That's going to be it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, this documentary was so good to me because it highlighted the importance of street culture in hip-hop.
When the camera at Del Taco catch you running the nigga over, then putting it in reverse and going back over him, it's just like, You ain't really getting out of this one, OG.
Yeah, no, I ain't seen.
No, I ain't even see the nigga.
Yeah, because they said the whole situation was Suge in the car. He pull up on Suge shit. Terry like, damn, nah, what you doing here, man? Get up out of here. You know, we gonna work this out. No, they trying to play me, da-da-da. The nigga Bone from the Jungles, Bone, who was in Training Day, and he's also in The Tax Collector.
Right.
Excellent fucking movie. If y'all haven't seen The Tax Collector on Hulu. Bone walk up and just start punching Suge in the face.
That's the one from Training Day that...
Training Day, that one that ran the Jungles.
Yeah.
He's a real
He was the
life
one that
gangster.
picked the gun up.
Exactly.
At the end,
he's a real life gangster, Athens Park Blood. But he's like this with Dr. Dre, and the Hollywood productions pay him and Big U and a couple others to shoot around LA because they control these neighborhoods.
Right.
He's a real gangster. So he sees Suge, he just walk right up to the car, go right in his mouth. Boop, bop, ba-da. Suge panic because he think Bone gonna smoke him. That's when he throw the car in reverse, all that crazy shit, run Bone over, kill Terry, and then the rest is fucking history. Because he feared for his life because a real gangster was on his ass.
Yeah, that's the part of the documentary. It highlights so much shit that went on and so many things that are the way they are because of all the nonsense that went on.
Did you get to the part where, I don't know if it was part 3, where they was talking about like the whole checking in culture and all of that shit?
I just got to, that's part 4.
Part 4, all right. So they get into that and they basically like, listen, like, it ain't about somebody trying to extort you or whatever. This is for your own protection. Right. Like, you away from, like Juvenile said it best on 400 Degrees, you far away from home, you an alien.
Yeah.
Like, anything can happen to you. And Big U like, you ain't got to check in with me. Call Magic, call Bone, call this person, call somebody. Because when you get flipped upside down, you going to want to call somebody.
Right.
Call in advance so I can tell you, this neighborhood cool, this neighborhood ain't cool. Watch yourself. So, no, but we ain't got to talk about that, but so much more. But after you watch the next 3 parts, we'll talk about the end and everybody redemption story next week.
How was your week, though?
Oh, man. I spent a week in Miami. I fucking loved it. I fell in love with Miami again. I basically, my whole goal for the last week was to explore the parts of Miami that are more culture and not like South Beach.
I rarely spend time. When I go down there, I'll go to like Coconut Grove. I'll go Fort Washington. I'll go to Fort Lauderdale. I'll be all over the fucking place. I rarely ever be on like South Beach. So I explored all like Ocean Drive.
Like I stayed near the Design District, so I was in the Design District heavy. You know, the shopping, all of the restaurants. Pharrell has a restaurant down there, Swan. I believe he's partnered with David Gluckman. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Kev is the one that put me on, so he could correct me if I'm wrong. But Pharrell has his restaurant down there, Swan. Crazy, beautiful, 5-star everything. The presentation, the fucking drink menu.
Whole lot of Michelin rated shit going on.
Everything, all of that shit. I went to, so I basically did like my own restaurant week. Like, you know, I was like, you know, shopping and exploring the different areas during the day. Brickell, Design District, Coral Gables, all of that. And then like nighttime, basically went to a different restaurant every night. So I went to Prime Fish, which is the sister to Prime 112.
Prime 112,
but they also have the steak, the Prime steak menu also, along with the seafood or whatever. So did that joint the first night. I did Swan the second night, Pharrell's restaurant. The third night, Mr. Chow.
Prom 112, they gave me a free bottle of champagne in there.
Holy shit.
Because we told them I played for the Dolphins. It was funny as shit.
Filet.
Yeah.
Filet.
Yeah. I had the I rented the S63.
Yeah.
So you know it had the Florida plates on or whatever. Now I had on all white, which was freaky. And then I had the boot. That was when I popped my Achilles.
Okay.
So I had the air boot on. So we pull up, me and Levy get out. You know, she's dressed really nice. I'm, you know, big nigga. And the boy was like, man, you're massive or whatever. And he was like, what happened to the ankle? I'm like, fucked it up, you know, in training camp or whatever. And he was like, oh man, what do you play football? I'm like, I'm Dolphins, you know, like I'm on a red shirt team, but you know, hopefully next year. He's like, oh man, hopefully, you know, you get yourself back together, whatever. We get in there, they straight brought us free bottle of champagne and shit. Like that shit was nuts. I'm like, yo, lying be fun as shit.
You can pull it off.
Yeah.
That shit be working.
Yeah.
And then the third Tuesday night, Tuesday night went to Pau, which is a Indonesian / Filipino restaurant in the Faena Hotel.
Okay.
The Faena Hotel is like the illest shit in Miami. It's like at 33rd and Collins. They got that's the one with the big gold elephant outside in the
I've
courtyard.
seen pictures and shit.
Yeah, the Faena is out of this world. All is like red decor, jungle shit, crazy, ridiculous. Super 5 diamond hotel, all of that shit. And then the final night, we went to Nurset. Salt Bay restaurant. He was there. He was holding the court. He was killing that shit. Like
I was gonna ask, do you have to like book him?
Well, basically, it's certain shit on the menu you can order that's like signature Jones, and he'll come to your table and do the show and all of that.
But what if he's not there?
If he ain't there, then you get another nigga.
Yeah, like I don't want
Yeah, so I
don't want salt boil. I want to see the actual, you know what I mean?
Salt brus.
Yeah, salt fam. Like nah. Because I meant to ask you that the other day because we talk about so much shit that I just kind of like it skipped my mind. But I wanted to ask, like, do you have to book him or?
No, I just kind of lucked up. Like I booked the reservation and I was just like, it's Miami, middle of the week. Like New York stinks. Like nobody's in New York. He's probably around. Sure enough, I get in there. He in there holding court. It was like a table of like some good-looking white women. Black History Month's over, so I can say that. It's like a table of good-looking white women. He was over there shooting his shit. He had a gold Patek on.
Yeah, the Patek was
He had
nuts.
a gold Patek on, baguette fucking factory dial. He was in his act. He was killing that shit. And he was just bouncing around table to table, holding court, talking to people. And it was like a great experience. It's literally the best steakhouse I ever been to. Like, it's not even fucking cool.
He further proves my point. I always say, like, when it comes to white people, a ponytail means you're either filthy rich or completely fucked up. Like, there is no in between. You see a white man with a ponytail, he's either filthy rich or he's in the subway. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no in between.
One of the underground people from New York City.
Like, think about if Taylor just had a ponytail. That would make no fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've never seen a white person with a ponytail that just be like, chilling, working a job, you know what I'm saying? Got a little property. Like, you got a ponytail, you filthy fucking rich or you fucked up. But yeah, it looked fly.
Yeah,
like,
no, it was super fly. The decor, the ambiance, they playing music. They got the fucking they got the champagne all the way up to the fucking Ace of Spades, Rosé, Dom Perignon, the whole shit. It's almost like a
you just made me think about it. So I started listening to Earn Your Leisure. Shout out, Earn.
Let me say this. I apologize, Earn Your Leisure. I had no fucking idea y'all shit was that massive.
Yeah,
they have a whole network now.
Yeah, they have like webinars and all. They're really, really for real.
They got Mark Cuban coming on this week.
I was about to say,
Market Mondays.
What made me super get into their joint was Troy, because Troy's a teacher, and he basically do this. They did like a 6-week financial literacy program for kids, and it became like so deep that the kids were telling the parents, and then they was like, they started doing that and putting together all these different workshops and all this shit, and then the podcast. So last week they just had like a run, well, not 2 weeks now, a run that was just crazy as shit. They had Mark Cuban on their show. Then they did the Breakfast Club a couple days later. They signed with Black Effects, which is Charlamagne's network. Like, I think they might have done it the day before or whatever. And then they were number 1 on iTunes for business jumps.
And then Market Mondays was number 20.
Yeah.
And then they had 3 other shows that they produced were in the top 160.
Yeah, they're dope. But you made me think about the episode they had Mark Cuban on. You didn't listen to it, did you?
No.
So Mark Cuban was like, they were like, you might be the only NBA owner who like went to live on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? When they won the championship. So Mark Cuban was like, I'll tell y'all a crazy story about that night. So they went to live after they won the championship. He's like, as we're getting in there, the manager of the club was like, we have a bottle of champagne that's $140,000. It's a huge,
like a Dirk-sized bottle.
It's
of
a
gigantic.
Like they got to bring in a wheelbarrow and shit. And he was like, Dirk looked at me and was like, hell yeah, you better get it. And he was like, all right. So he's like, I gave him my black card, and he was like, with black cards, and this is where I like kind of like. I know we play off of shit better than most people, and that's not a knock. Yeah. But he was like, he was like, that every 6 months they give you the new black card because for theft protection. And they was just like, yeah. And I'm like, right there is where you be like, hell no, I didn't know. How would we know this? Like, no, we don't know this. Like, what the fuck?
I've only even seen one black card in person.
Like, I got a black card, but it's a fucking Cash App card. Like, what the fuck? But anyway, he was like, they give you a new black card every 6 months for theft protection. So he's like, you get it, you got signed it, activated, whatever. He's like, I guess I just hadn't done it, like, just with everything going on. So he's like, I gave my black card. He's like, 15 minutes past Dirk, Jason Terry, Tyson Chandler. They all like, yo, where the bottle? We want to see the shit. So he's like, the manager came and tapped me on my shoulder, like, can we talk to you? He's like, it's been a long time since I got one of those, one of those taps. So he's like, the manager took me back, like, yeah, your card declined. And he was like, how the hell could it decline? It's a black Amex.
And I'm a billionaire.
And he was like, oh, it must not be activated. So he was like, he called American Express real quick, and the first lady was like, no help. So he's like, can I speak to a manager? The manager got on the phone, was like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but how can I be sure that this is Mark Cuban? He was like, dude, did you not see television tonight? We won the fucking championship. Turn this card on. He's like, they got it done and bought the bottle out, but the bottle was 140 racks. Like,
yeah,
that's life-altering money, man.
No, seriously, on a bottle of champagne.
On a bottle.
On some bubbly, a little bit of the bubbly.
On some bub that you can't even take with you.
Yeah, one of my friends, my man Mike Black, he used to be the district manager when I worked at Total Sport. He told me a black card story. It was I think it was BEEG's. And he basically with the black card, I think you got to spend $250,000 every year or something. Yeah,
annually, like recurrently.
Yeah, you got to spend $250,000. So they was like basically like BEEG's would have his and he would never use it. He'd wait to the end of the year and buy a car on the shit, whatever. He'd go buy a Bentley, whatever the new hot shit is. He'd go buy a car, swipe the car. So he said he went to this car dealership that I guess he never dealt with before, and they called Amex and was like, "Yeah, we have Kareem Burke here. He's trying to purchase a vehicle, his car. We just wanted to verify such and such before he run it." They said the people from Amex was like, "Listen, that man is a Shmurda card holder. Don't you ever in your fucking life call here again to verify no purchase for a Centurion card holder," and hung the phone.
Wow.
It's a different level of access.
Yeah.
They said Amex was literally like it's a black. What are you calling for? It's a black card.
The purpose of the card.
Yeah, he could buy a skyscraper.
He's like, we understand that the card is black, but he's black.
Right, so he's black with the card.
They're both black, and we're trying to figure out what's happening. And like, we don't give a fuck about the card. He's black.
Yeah,
That's where the problem lies.
The card holder is black as well.
Yo, real shit. Oh yeah, we don't give a damn about the card being black. It's him being black that we're calling about. That's funny as shit. Yeah, damn. But yeah, you had a ball.
I had the time of my life, man. All I gotta say is Miami B. Miami.
Listen, Miami or ATL, I'm ready to go.
Fuck ATL, Miami B.
We set this shit up. We can go ahead and tell. Me and Chad are contemplating taking this show
on the road
and getting out of this market. The bus I had the other night, the heat cut off, and I literally
I got enough of this shit.
I was like, this is it. I'm physically done, and I'm just on a tip where I understand the product that we have and the magic that we can create, and I really want to get to a place where we can really, really branch out, create a network, have bigger guests, have more guests, be able to do more things with the show, bring a better product for the people. And we've realized now when it comes to media in Philadelphia, they often say things have like a glass ceiling. When it comes to young urban media, the ceiling is cement and it has spikes.
Yeah.
And the floor is rising.
The only person in it got like a vault door on it, and the only person that got the fucking pin code is like Kenny Gamble.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking it. Like
Hall and Oates. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. And it's just like, we had a serious talk yesterday, and it was just like,
I say like, I'm leaning more toward Miami because of this. One, no state income tax. Two, extremely corporate friendly in terms of setting up companies and shit like that. And then three, I was with my bro Javier, DJ Golden Boy.
Javi.
Follow him on all social media. This motherfucker is one of the biggest power brokers in the nation. I promise you. At DJ Golden Boy on Instagram. And he was telling me in the next 2 years, 3 major industries are moving to South Florida: tech, finance, and the entertainment industry, music and movies, because of the things that I mentioned before.
Yeah.
The tax breaks, corporate friendly status, all of that shit. And, I was with him the last night before I came home on Wednesday night. And, we talked, and he was basically like, bro, he was like, if you're going to move anywhere, he's like, number one, you got to get the fuck out of Philly. Like, Philadelphia is over. You got to get the fuck out of Philly. But if you're going to move anywhere, you should move here because I'm here. I'm one of your best friends, and you automatically get my network from day one when you move here. This is the guy that booked fucking Kevin Hart for Grant Cardone's 10X Festival conference. This is the guy that booked Kevin Hart at the Hard Rock 3 times, one of which I was there with him, like next to him, and our section was here and Kevin Hart's section was here. So it's like, it's a different level of access, with this guy right now. And, this is one of my absolute best friends. And it's crazy how we met, because like a crazy ass like woman introduced us, and neither one of us like fuck with her. I mean, we both fuck with each other. So that's just life for you. But I just think that, the type of things that, he could potentially do for us as far as like steering guests towards our way and insight and this company and all of that shit that he has at his disposal would be huge. He just brokered a deal for fucking TikTok for a Black History Month concert.
Well, listen, like the conversation we all had the other day, I told you, I was, I kind of had my heart on ATL, but if it's meant for me to wear shorts and John Cletas every day.
Oh, yeah. And the other reason why we should move to Miami, they have the best weather in the country.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'll get some big ass size 16 John Cletas.
The whole week I was there, it was 72 to 82. Even when it rains, you ain't tripping. You're like,
should be over in a little bit.
It'll go away in a little while.
But it rained here, and you like, I'm going to kill myself. Like, this shit is terrible.
It rained all weekend. I wanted to shoot somebody up here. It rained 3 days out of the 6 I was there. I'm like, it'll be all right.
The funniest part is when
The
funniest part is when you go somewhere and then you come back to Philly and you get to the airport of like flying out and you see the congregation of people going back to Philly and you see the cracked iPhones and you just like, I'm going home. Like,
I had the Wi-Fi on a plane and shit when I was coming back. We get about 40 miles outside of Philly. They're like, yeah, we're starting to make our final descent into Philly. We're about 40 miles out. I'm like, damn, I can smell the gunpowder. I can smell the larceny all the way up from 30,000 feet. I can still smell the fucking larceny, man.
But yeah, hopefully in these next couple weeks, honestly, we can get it all together. We really seriously discussed Atlanta. And then we had a real deal conversation. Shout out Ra. The conversation we had the other night was amazing. Yeah. The whole conversation about the black economics and everything.
Yeah.
I wish we could put out the shit because we have really, really, really great private conversations. Yeah. But we talked about the whole Miami situation, and it's just
think for me, Miami is it just represents a more diverse market. There's more diversity there. With these other industries coming in there, it's going to create even more diversity. And Atlanta, for what it is, it's a black city. It's fucking Black Hollywood. It's Wakanda. It is what it is. But the violence is starting to tick up a little bit.
We're here. So.
And once niggas tried to kill Saha for no reason on like a Wednesday night, I'm like, I don't know.
Did you see DJ Envy was talking about his Cullinan got stolen?
No.
Yeah, they stole his Cullinan, and he was like, at first he was pissed, but then he was like, he wanted to find out who did it. On some like, yo, man, like you doing this shit, eventually you gonna run into the wrong motherfucker, they gonna blow your head off, or you gonna go to jail. Like, let's see if you taking these cars and doing whatever the fuck you doing with them, like, we can't haul off and like get you to, invest some money or, try to go about it this way or whatever. And, so that's my whole thing. Like, when it comes to the youth, it's like they just don't be knowing no better. Yeah. So he's like, at first, I was pissed. Like, what the fuck? But then it's like, man, I can get that shit again. I got insurance, whatever. And, I just wanted to basically be on some, yo, you doing this. You ever stop and be like, oh, I did this. I got 15,000, 20,000. Right. Like, all right, I done did this enough. Now let's become an entrepreneur about this. Let's invest some money. Exactly. And Charlamagne was like, well, what if it was your Cullinan and took him over the top? Where it's like, okay, now I can fully invest. I can fully invest into what I want to do out here. But yeah, so he definitely got his Cullinan.
Motherfuckers steal your Cullinan. That shit is on a shipping container to Nigeria right now. You ain't got to never worry about seeing that motherfucker again, especially in the New York tri-state.
No, this happened in Atlanta.
Oh, it happened in Atlanta.
I think it was in Atlanta.
Oh,
yeah.
Atlanta. Atlanta, same shit.
Because he huge with the real estate shit
yeah.
down there. So I think it was down in ATL and shit.
Damn.
Yeah, definitely swiped the Rolls truck. Like,
Yeah, no, that carjacking shit is crazy in Atlanta. Like, literally. So this car gets stolen or he got carjacked?
No, he didn't get carjacked.
Oh, okay.
I doubt that.
No, because like I saw a John the other day, motherfucker in Atlanta, the lady at the fucking gas pump, she had like a little BMW X3 or whatever.
Nigga tried to crack on her.
Yeah.
She didn't give him no play. It was like, all right. Well,
Nigga crept around. He was in a BMW too. He crept around the side of the John, stole her purse and her laptop, and skated off. I'm like, yo, these niggas are vicious.
oh no, I'm talking about the boy who stole the car.
No, this is a different John.
No, this chick got out the car and boy, like he could
Man,
tell he
what's
like,
on,
what's up, baby? She like, no, and walked in the store. He like,
Hated had to be her.
Like, yeah. But what did I do anything this week? My week was eventful to say the least. Oh, I got into it with Dustman the other day. That was pretty lit. It went that fast too, because the other day when it snowed, I left out of the crib to go to work early, thinking that the roads was gonna be terrible.
Yeah.
So when I come to work, I normally walk in around like 3:30. So all the old heads, like all our number 1, number 4, all of them motherfuckers, them super old niggas been there 40 years, they all get done at like 2 in the afternoon.
Okay.
2:30 at the latest, because they all do early straights. So I never see these people because I don't come in until 3:30. So me getting there, I got there early as fuck the other day. I got there at like 2:45.
They all in there.
They was playing cards. And I ain't seen a card game because you know how my shit get 6 cards. It'd be 4 tables going poker and shit, shooting dice in the bathroom. That shit was like Caesars. So when I came to the break room, I looked in the. I'm like, oh Lord, all these motherfuckers in there. So I
gotta be social.
So I come in, hey, what the fuck is that? All of that shit. So I'm just like, what's up? So he turns around and I ain't seen him in months. He turned around and was like, yeah, what's up, nigga? What you been ducking me or something? And I'm like, ain't nobody been ducking your bitch ass. And it just went downhill from there. You know what I'm saying?
What you been ducking me?
Yeah, I'm like, ain't nobody been ducking your bitch ass.
I don't owe you no $40 or nothing, nigga. Fuck, I'm ducking you for.
So then we started like, what was the first thing we got into it about? LeBron wanting to be Jordan and not being Jordan. I'm just like, I'm not even paying this nigga no mind. Then he started saying something else, and he said something else. Then he started going into how now, because they was talking about the snow. And one of the other old heads, Tony, was like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't see no kids out here shoveling snow. Like, what the fuck? Like, when did that end? And he was like, I'll tell you where it ended. With motherfuckers like him. All these motherfuckers thinking they can be rappers and motherfucking radio personalities and every motherfucking thing. I'm just like...
Like, you do know I'm 36,
right? So he was like, all these motherfucking kids, all they want to do is sit in the house, be on YouTube, making motherfucking videos. They don't want to be out there doing no hard motherfucking work, because that's the way we came up, and that's the problem with society now. And so I'm just like, yo, real talk. I looked up, I'm like, I got 13 minutes before I fucking report. I'm like, the reason you don't see kids shoveling snow for $5 and $10 now is because, not trying to be funny, kids can go on YouTube or TikTok and become millionaires in 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. And you got a lot of kids now that are way more creative and way more resourceful to the things that they have in and around their community, their lives. It's motherfuckers who legitimately make Jones where they prank their moms and fucking blow the fuck up on you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, whereas like y'all back in the day were like one level removed from slavery. You know what I'm saying? It's like all you knew was hard work with your hands. Yeah. Go get a shovel snow for $5. At the end of the day, you done made $75. You can go get some Pro Kids and some heroin, and it's a good fucking day. You know what I'm saying?
Some smack.
Go get some smack and some fucking boots. You had a good fucking day. So he was like, you swear old motherfuckers it did things wrong. And I'm like, no, I don't think older people did anything wrong. I think what it is that as time goes on, everything evolves. So people just have a new understanding or think about how all y'all knew back in the day. And even my family is victim of it. All we knew as black people growing up back in the day was work hard, get a pension, save some money. In 30 years, you get your pension, you can go on vacation, and you might could like get a new house. You might could. You lucky if you get to do that.
You might could get a double.
You might. You might. Yeah. And that's what we knew. But now you got people who are understanding, yo, I can invest money into the stock market. I can be an entrepreneur. I can, like, even down to little kids. Fucking shout out Kyrie. Slick daughter sold out all her cupcakes and things. You know, she had a bake sale. She's fucking a little girl. Yeah. She's like, my dad fake famous. I'm gonna go get some fucking money. That's the way kids operate now. Yeah, it's just a different ball game. So he was, who you to be the master of what? And I'm just like, yo, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't even know why I started. So then the other old head was like, why you even come in here if y'all know y'all can't, like, just be in the same? And I'm like, who the fuck are you to say why'd I come in here? Do you not know about civil rights? I can go any fucking where I want to go. Ain't that what you old niggas was walking for? And when I said that, all hell kind of like broke loose. And my dispatcher was like, every time, which I'm just like, dog. Like, it's just always some nonsense. But yeah,
ain't that what you old niggas was walking around?
Like, just silly shit. But yeah, it fucks me up because it's like I was telling Tone, what's crazy is how y'all say all the time, you don't see no kids shoveling. I'm like, you know who you see shoveling? Old niggas. That used to be shoveling back in the day.
Been shoveling 62 years.
Been shoveling. It starts snowing, they twirling the shovel around in the basement, like, yeah, if I go get some money out here. And I'm just like, it's just different now. Like, kids is like, why the, like, and that's not trying to be on some shit, but because it's still kids that shovel snow, and it's just what it is. But if
I could go be a gamer and make thousands of dollars, why the fuck am I out here shoveling snow?
Like, I'll be honest with you. You know what me and Steve, shout out Steve, you know what we did back in the day? We would go to Power Gamer on Woodland Avenue on 60th and Woodland, not 61st and Woodland. Yeah. Right across from the Murray's and the Dunkin' Donuts and shit. Power Gamer used to be on the corner. Motherfucking, they used to sell the chips for the PlayStations, the ones. It was, you had to put the chip part in the back of the PlayStation and then you had to put the spring inside where the disc went and keep the fucking top open. They sold them joints for $20. Verbatim disc at Best Buy, 25 pack was $22. We would literally go and buy the fucking chips and copy games that we would rent from Blockbuster onto verbatim disc because it was the only disc you could use to copy games on. Yeah. And literally, I would sell the chip with your choice of 3 games for $50. Because games was $40 fucking dollars. Yeah. We made a killing doing that. I'm not shoveling anything. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and that was us being young in 96, right. 97. So you can imagine, I told you I was doing school tripper. The kids was coming out of school. The boy was like, yo, you getting on the charter? He's like, no, my Uber pulling up. I'm like, Uber pulling up? So nigga was like 15. Yeah. And he on the phone like, yeah, right now my YouTube has 9,000 subscribers. Actually, it's 8,800. I'm trying to get to 15,000 before the summertime. That's my goal. And I'm just like, little nigga is running a racket. Right. Like, they got a driver? Shit is crazy. But that's society now. Yeah. And older people really can't understand it. What you mean you don't want to be a brick mason?
What you mean you don't want to break your motherfucking back potentially?
Like, yeah, you
don't want to mix cement.
But they talk about that on Earn Your Leisure. Like us, especially in the black community, we got taught work with your hands. Yeah. To the point where they got that stupid joint to be like, my hands look like this so that her hands can look like it just be like, no, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be like that.
The primary difference between black culture and white culture is like white people are literally told from a child they can do whatever the fuck they want and they really believe
anything they want to do. And they really
like do that shit. Like, think about all the shit like over the last 20 years that's popped up that was like not even a hobby. It was just like so niche and just so ridiculous that like you could never think about making a job out of it. And it's like, these are jobs. People are paid to be on social media. Mm-hmm. That's all they do. Just
paid to be on social media.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like shit like that.
And old niggas can't understand the concept because when they go on Facebook, they post them weird ass selfies. Yeah. And then to all the little bitches, they look nice with hard eyes.
Then you got people that are social media consultants that are paid to tell the social media influencers what to do in order to make more money on social media. Like,
they got an episode on there about growing your social media following on the Earn Your Leisure shit, like all the things to do and this and that.
They just I'm gonna listen to theirs because I'm sure they got some good insight. Because like everything you look at online, even when it comes from Forbes and Fortune and shit like that, it'd be the most generic information ever. It's like, make sure you post every day, and it's like, all right, man, what the fuck? Like, you got nothing better than that. Like,
Go to the home.
Have people repost you.
Go to the home investing seminar. All right, first things first. You want to find properties? This is how you do it. Go to google.com.
Then type in www.phila.gov.
Yeah, real talk.
Or whatever prospective city you are in.
Envy talked about that on the show I was watching. He's talking about because they started doing the seminars for investing in real estate and shit. And he was saying how he did it just to piss off this one motherfucker in Atlanta. Dude was charging 15 bands to come to a real estate investing joint. And Envy was like, nah, yo, like, you got the information and you really on some like trying to help the culture and help the people. You can't charge motherfuckers $15,000 to come sit in this joint.
No.
And he was like, we did it for free just to like piss him off. And Charlamagne was like, oh, you ain't shit. He's like, no, really, like that was what it was. It was like, yo, we did it just on some like, nigga, this information is like, it's free. It was like,
I'm gonna disrupt the market. You at 15,000, I'm at 0, and my information is better than yours.
and he was like,
now next time I could charge 1,000 or whatever the fuck.
And he was like, we did it just to piss him off, and it wound up turning into a thing where it's like, you know, now we've done hundreds of these, and we got all these different, you know, it's like a tree, like all these different branches of like, we're doing seminars on taxes, and we're doing seminars on credit, the importance of that, and literally it's turned into a thing. And he was like, it was literally because I saw somebody who was he's like, dog, I saw one joint where he charged people $30,000, and it was just like, what the fuck? And it's like, if you got $10, $15, $20,000 to go to this, that's money you could put into the property.
Exactly.
Like, why the fuck?
Perfect example. My man Ted, he got shout out my man Ted. He got his sunglass company, Player Frames. He hit me up. Somebody that we know, that I know, he don't really know him, but he follow him on social media, was doing a seminar on like social media marketing and how to use like the Facebook ads and all of this old shit, and Instagram ads to help your business boom. So he hit me up. He was like, yeah, you know, he was charging $2,200 and now he cut it down. It's $1,100, blah, blah. I said, all right, well, first things first. They cut it down because nobody's not buying it at the $2,200. So that's the first thing. I said, secondarily, I don't want you to give them the $1,100. I said, because if you had, I said, what you need to do is get a Facebook ad manager account, go on there, play around with it, fuck around with the presets, set some groups up, this, and this, do little test runs, $8 here, $4 here. See if your groups that you set up react. I said, then from there, did you know you can contact Facebook and you can do weekly or monthly free seminars with Facebook where they will tell you how to optimize the ad. And based on your test runs that you did, oh, well, you know, I did a test run for $30, I did a test run for $12, they can tell you, oh, this was wrong, you should change this image, for free.
Right.
I said, so you're gonna go pay a nigga we know $1,100 when the people who figured it out on his own or figured it out through Facebook, when Facebook could tell you for free. Then you still got to turn around and spend $1,100 on ads after you give him $1,100 to promote your business.
Shit is
just
nuts.
cut the middleman out.
Right.
And it's like, I ain't trying to knock nobody hustle, but niggas are the only ones charging for free information.
Right.
Consistently.
That's the tip Envy was getting at. It was just like, we're the only ones who kind of do this. Like,
we hoard information.
Other communities don't do this with each other. You know, but with us, it's like, oh, I'm going to sell you on how to like get into this when I got into it for fucking free.
You know what the Jews and the Indians do? The Eastern Indians, not Native Americans. You know what the Jews and the Indians do when they find out some new, cool, innovative shit? It's called town hall.
Yeah.
Because they all live in the same fucking community. They have a town hall, hey, we just discovered this shit. And then they got it up on the fucking PowerPoint and it's like, da-da-da. And me and Jebediah are going to start this and it's going to cost $1 million. And if you want to get in on this shit, then you could be doing donation. We doing investment levels of 10,000 up till we get to $1 million. Blah, blah, blah. We taking 100 potential investors and... Everybody eats. It's group economics.
And yo, that's the joint they was really, really on. Like the group economics thing, like we have no conscience of it. It's like everybody's out for themselves. Everybody's
because God forbid I get more than you or vice versa. Yeah. It's like, oh wait, that nigga got the LTZ Malibu? Like, my shit is only an LT. Who the fuck this nigga think he is?
This nigga got the SVT Focus. I don't know what's going on out here.
Excuse me? Had to drop a dime on this nigga. Like, it's that shit. It's the envious shit where it's like, I got friends that's super successful. Like, friends that I talk to on the phone, friends that come to my crib, all that shit. I got a friend with a fucking McLaren. You know what I'm saying?
The SVT focus, bro.
Nigga drove a McLaren to my crib. I didn't get upset. I didn't say, damn, nigga, you trying to shit on me. I got motivated. I got more money to fucking make. Like, these motherfuckers are legit miserable and crazy. And I say it all the time on social media to the point where people think I'm joking. I'm dead serious. Poverty is driving motherfuckers crazy, man.
I mean, that's kind of what happened. And we were talking about it like with the whole PUA thing. Yeah. It's like everybody wound up getting a situation, whether it was 7 grand, 15 grand, 22. It was people who went all. It was people who went all the way up to 100.
It was a nigga that went up to 300.
Yeah, that's like
one person removed from me.
And nobody invested anything. And it's like I was reading this thing the other day on Forbes, right? If you put $6,000 into a Roth IRA, the interest, if you do it for your child, when your child is 5 years old, the interest when they get 60 will be at $1 million. And he was like, just that right there, because we get, the article I'm reading was like how we get taught, go get a pension, go get a pension, go get a pension, because you want security when you get to a certain age. He's like, you do that for your kid, their retirement is already there. Now you can just go and you don't gotta fucking succumb to no job because and it was crazy because the article was like just how we were talking with Alicia and Alicia.
Yeah.
How we get told about job security and it'd be like, oh, you know, people be like, oh, I'm gonna go do 30 years. I'm gonna go do 30 years. And it's crazy because the boy Rashard, he was saying how one of his homies was like, yeah, damn, I wish I'd have went and been a firefighter. And he was like, what do you mean? And he was like, cause I could have went and done a quick 30. And he's like, there's no such thing as a quick 30. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's Meech.
Even if you get in at 20, you're gonna be 50. You're gonna be 50 when you're done with this.
There's no such thing as a quick 30. But we get told that because it's like, yo, you get the pension at the end. Yeah. But he's like, just think about just doing that for your child when your child is young. They have a retirement already to where you don't have to worry. You could just create and try. And I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to go. And it's crazy because I was having a talk the other day. Like, SEPTA pension is bullshit. But in the grand scheme of things, everybody be like, oh man, that's a good pension.
Right.
But in reality, it's like, yo, $4,000 a month ain't even really enough to live on now.
No, fuck no.
Let alone 20 years from now.
That's a super like lower middle class existence. 4,000 a month.
But what's crazy is that's like one of the best pensions out this joint. That's crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah, that's why you gotta take your money and invest in yourself.
Real
People
shit.
get paid all the time and they pay everybody except they goddamn self. They don't save no money. They don't invest no money. They fucking get a paycheck. Say they get $2,000. They get paid every 2 weeks. They get $2,000 net. They go, they fucking pay rent, they pay their car note, they pay their car insurance, they fucking trick on some hoes. You got $400 left till the next paycheck. Then that's your quote unquote fun paycheck. And then but you so drowning in bills, you gotta pay this credit card, that credit card, this and this. And it's just like, yo, do you look up and you netting $600 a month? You can't even stack no paper.
No.
And that be the fucking thing. And it's like, yo, Grant Cardone said it best. If you can't afford to live off of 40% of your net income and save 60, you're failing yourself because you need to store money with the intention of one day having bread to make a move that will get you further than where you are now.
Yeah.
And
My people just sent me that clip.
the Grant Cardone clip. That's what I'm saying, because that's the real shit. And it's like, motherfuckers ask me all the time, like, where you get your information? Like, I get my information from the leaders of industry. Fucking Gary V, Grant Cardone.
Yeah, I was
Dame
literally
Dash. What's the bull from Shark Tank? Black bull.
Cuban? No. He talking about Fubu Boy.
Fubu Boy.
Damon John.
Damon
John, like motherfuckers like that. People that have done it and done it over and over and over again. Serial entrepreneurs. Motherfuckers that don't got, I got one pop. Like, lames get lucky. I don't believe in that shit.
Yeah.
Like, you could do anything and then it just pop off. Do it again.
Right.
And then again. If you don't have at least 3 successful companies, I don't really want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I'll hear you out, but I'm not taking your word as gold when you got one successful company.
Oh, you went platinum? Yeah, that's nice. Now let me see you do the same thing twice.
Do it again.
3 times, 4 times, and a couple of more times. Shut up, Nas. You know, I'm like, it's the truth. But it's wild because the other day I think Jules was like, do you follow 911, one of them nonsense pages, the violence pages? And I was like, fuck no, I don't follow none of that shit. And it made me like really think about it, like how different my timeline looks now as opposed to like years ago. Like I follow none of that shit. Like I don't follow none of that baller. I don't follow none of that negative shit.
I don't even see that shit unless somebody send it to me.
And it's crazy. Even my Explore page now, it's just like working out shit and finance shit and couple hot chicks. It's like I really don't like. I don't care about that shit. My timeline now is like you said, Gary V, Mark Cuban, fucking CNBC, all these different things, because it's just like, yo, your brain is a sponge. If you pour Henny on the sponge, if you pour water on the sponge, it's just, this shit's gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's just what it is.
Yeah.
So if you fueling your mind, you ever see Street Fighter, the movie?
Yeah.
When they built Blanca, remember he was a soldier and he was a fucking good guy, but they was programming him, having him watch all that destructive shit to make him like an animal. And the doctor was sneaking, showing him like Martin Luther King speeches and shit, trying to keep him sane. And it's just like, like programming is a motherfucker. Like, back in the day, we legitimately had shows like Sanford and Son, Good Times, The Cosbys, Fresh Prince, Family Matters. Do you realize the theme in all of them shows? There was a family structure.
Element.
There was a father and a mother who were married and they were with each other outside of Sanford and Son, of course, because Elizabeth died. You know what I'm saying? But then you fast forward to where we are now in society and you got like Love and Hip Hop and all of this shit.
Basketball wise.
Where it's
and
just
nobody's a wife.
It's just pandemonium. And Dame, shout out Dame Dash is another person I want to eventually get on this motherfucker. Dame said it on EYL. Dame was like, they treat us that toxicity is supposed to be normal in our community. And he's like, that's bullshit.
They don't sell that shit to no other culture.
He's like, I watch these fucking reality shows every. He's like, what the fuck is this? Like, you're not supposed to treat your friends like this. You're not supposed to fight at dinner. It's time to eat. The fuck? Like, but they sell us on this imagery of like you supposed to always turn the dinner upside down and always throw the shoe when the shoe's supposed. And it's like, nah, yo, we're really not supposed to act like this. And he's like, we're the only people who, and we've said it on here before, we get taught that drama and confusion is supposed to be a way of life.
Right.
And that's so fucking far from the truth.
Yeah.
And that's really where we be at, to where people believe it almost.
Yeah. I'm to the point where I don't even small talk with motherfuckers no more.
Yo,
like,
I was saying the other day, I dead ass talk to 6 or 7
like,
people.
I don't even small talk no more. Motherfuckers hitting me on IG and all that shit. Yo, I need your new number. No, you don't. Like, no, and it's no offense.
Chad texts me, yo, this is the new number. Please do not give it.
Do not get like. It's like I finally took, after 19 years, I finally changed this motherfucker. I'm a manicure the shit out of who got this number, because motherfuckers will just call you and just talk bullshit. Like, people will pretend that they got the most life altering information to tell you, and then be like, "Yo, did you watch the motherfucking volleyball championship the other day?" Because the one bitch had the super fat ass, but the other bitch had like the medium nice ass, and but it had the cuff at the bottom. It's just like, why is this relevant to me? Like, and why do I need to talk to you about this?
Shout out Marv. Me and Marv talk like every day, and we always just talk like this finance shit and this investing shit, and he's really like helped me in these last
Marv been on my ass about the Market Monday shit. Did you listen to Market Monday?
Like he's really like helped me in the last couple of weeks get a fucking. Did I tell you I finally invested?
No, you didn't.
I bought fucking Airbnb stock the other day. So let me tell you how funny this shit was. So I'm talking to Marv. So I'm like, all right, I got some money. I'm gonna jump in there. So my first joint, I bought $400 worth of Airbnb stock.
Okay.
Airbnb went up that day. It was at like $181 a share, and then it went up to $230 something a share.
Oh, shit. So
I wound up making $33. So I called Marv. I'm like, look, what we need to look into is foreign exchange. And Marv was like, you need to calm the fuck down. I'm like, no, we need to get some put options. Marv was like, yo, take it easy over there. But I bought Airbnb stock. That was pretty successful. I bought Tesla. Went down, but they always buy the dip, whatever.
Yeah.
I got that. I bought into an ETF called QQQ.
Okay. I got 2 ETFs. I don't have QQQ. I'm not familiar with
I was listening to Rashard on EYL. He said he put in a put option for 2033. The company has gone up 20% every average of 20% over the last 10 years. It goes up 20% every year. Yeah. So he basically got a put option for it to go up 10% over the next 4.
Okay.
And he was like, it's going up 20. So I was like, I jumped in on QQQ. And Marv was like, yo, you really like are learning this shit. I'm like, dog, it's like, again, the brain is a sponge. If I sit down and watch Klan rallies, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck? So it's like, I definitely jumped out there the other day, and that when I seen that the plus 32, I'm like, let me go get a suit. I'm like, it's on.
Let me go get a mock neck.
Yeah, it's fucking on. But shout out Marv. Like I said, it's what you want to surround your brain with.
Yeah.
What you want to surround your brain
I'm looking
with.
at a notification now. Apple up 5% today. Shout out Apple. I just bought a bunch more Apple stock the other day. I was suffering. Yeah, today's return on Apple plus $181. Shout out to Apple, man.
The ETF is called QQQ Trust.
QQQ Trust. Okay.
Yeah. But I got Tesla. I got Apple. Oh, yeah, Apple is up. Damn.
Yeah, Workhorse is bouncing back today, up plus 79.90.
General Electric shot up like a motherfucker.
Yo, I'm so mad at myself, yo.
The crazy part is there was an article on what the fuck was I on Benzinga that was saying how the energy companies are gonna have a surge. And I saw it and I just didn't click on it. Yeah. I woke up this morning, I saw General Electric was like super the fuck up.
GE, it's at 1322 or so around there right now. About 4 months ago, GE was $7 a share. And I'm like, I should just buy like 100 shares of GE just because like it's General Electric. Like they ain't going nowhere. Like they're a staple of American society, and I just slept. And I could have damn near 2x my money, man. I'm mad at myself because every week I was just like, I'm going to just buy more of this. I'm going to just keep going into the EV sector, all of that old shit. Like super mad at myself, man.
Yeah, Marv, he got a penny stock for 40 cents a share that wound up going up to $18 a share. Yeah,
he had another one that was
Marv be on that shit, dog. Like,
he had another joint that like 40x or some shit.
Yeah,
for him. Like,
yeah, he know his shit. So we talk a lot with it.
Yeah, slowly but surely, all my stocks are like bouncing back this week, man. I was getting killed last week along with everybody else.
It's so weird that I have stocks. It's like nuts. Like I didn't know what the fuck was going on 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Neo is bouncing back. Everybody bouncing back today, baby.
They said today was going to be like good for like everybody though. Yeah, I saw that on CNBC.
Solid bounce back day for the market, man.
All right, let's knock out some topics.
Yes.
Enough nonsense. We actually did discuss Hip Hop Uncovered. Go watch that if you haven't watched it. Can we talk about Meek?
We have to.
Okay. We've reached a new low in the Meek Mill saga. I said it on here. Meek has the weirdest rap career in the history of rap.
Yes.
We have now seen, and this is just me going off head. I don't have this written down. I'll close my phone. I didn't write any of this down. This is just me going off of the things I've seen.
Yes.
We've now seen Meek versus Beans, Meek versus Oskino,
Meek versus Game,
Meek versus Cassidy, Meek versus Game, Meek versus Whack 100. We've seen Meek versus Drake,
Meek versus Conway Beats,
Meek versus AR Ab, Meek versus... There's some I'm forgetting.
Meek versus the CEO of Ethica.
Meek versus Ethica. Meek versus Quentin Miller.
Yes.
Meek versus Safari. Meek versus Nicki. Meek versus Nicki's new nigga. It's just... How did we get to Meek versus Vanessa Bryant? Remember Bad Boys 2? How did you sink a boat? How did we get here?
It's crazy. And the crazier part of the Meek versus Vanessa Bryant is that the line wasn't even fire. Like, it wasn't even hot. It was just like, it was just rap.
It was they
unnecessary.
started comparing it to like other lines in rap history.
Yes.
And like,
oh, so and so ain't say such and such?
It took everything. Like, I need like little rubber thumb stoppers because it really, and I couldn't help myself. I saw the nigga on Facebook was like, come on, man. Big said what he said about the towers and 3,000 people died in that shit. Y'all not about to tell me that that's not, that's Meek shit is more ridiculous than that. I'm like, bro, when Biggie said that line, he said that shit in 1993. The Twin Towers dropping was 01. Biggie had died in 97. He like, oh, so it was some shit at the Twin Towers before that. Nigga. It's just like...
What country do you live in? like look, Where the fuck do you niggas live, man? And this goes back to my point, and I'm tired of saying the same shit every show. Niggas are always the last ones to know some shit.
And I just left it alone. I'm like, and it kept giving me the red notification on Facebook. So commented on it. I'm just like, yo, leave me out of it, man. Like, y'all started comparing it to Wayne saying the Emmett Till line and Biggie's, Juicy line. And
Wayne got boycotted for that. Wayne
had to go through real shit.
Wayne had lost Mountain Dew over that
Wayne
shit.
had to issue an apology to the family. He picked up some bread of it, like donating to the fund apparently and shit. It's like, yeah, that line was drawing like shit. This line was fucking ridiculous. It's what it is.
The whole thing is, right, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning, like the freedom of speech shit and all of that.
It's different now.
They want to, but here's the thing. Rappers want to use freedom of speech in an abusive manner, not realizing forms of abusive language are not covered under the fucking Constitution.
Right.
Like, so it's like, yo, if you offensive, then my whole thing is this. I've seen people take the long way home on this Meek Mill, Vanessa Bryant shit, primarily Philly people, which proves like we evolved
that's gonna be my weird.
We like evolved from apes or some shit.
Yeah.
So it's like I've seen people go out of their way to take the long way home on this to try to justify the situation, as opposed to just saying the lady said she was offended, and the lady said I'm not familiar with your music, and she's not familiar with it. Like at some point we just gotta listen to people and stop trying to. Well, no, it ain't no way, because when I was in the club, like Vanessa Bryant is a wealthy, not rich, a wealthy.
Can we do this? My y'all weird of the week is everyone who decided to, out of everything that transpired between between Meek Mill and Vanessa Bryant, rest in peace, Kobe. Everyone who listened to this whole entire saga from Meek making the line, the line getting released on an unreleased, coming out on an unreleased track. Meek then tweeting, "Fuck your feelings, I'm going back savage mode." Then Vanessa taking that and putting on her IG. I don't know if you noticed, she's had time all week.
Yeah.
For like everybody who did you see the actor chick said that fly shit about Kobe?
No.
She was like, "Rest in peace, Kobe. For sure a sports legend, also a rapist. Both things can be true." She tweeted that right after Kobe died. I guess Vanessa just got wind of it.
Yeah.
So she posted on her story the other day like, "Yo, I don't know what the fuck type time you was on. I just got wind of this, but it's like, you're just terrible." Like, accusations aren't convictions. And that works for like everything in the world. Like, and Vanessa Bryant's had time this week. You know what I'm saying? But she posted this shit about Meek. Like, I'm not familiar
with your music.
And, but this line was just tasteless. For y'all to see Kobe Bryant died, a tragic way he died with his daughter and 7 others. The fact that Meek just stays in nonsense left and right. The fact that Vanessa Bryant is a grieving mother of 4 children, now 3 children still alive and processing all of that shit, not having her husband, not having her second daughter.
Not to mention there was a whole fucking tragedy. Multiple 9 people died.
For y'all to get the only thing out of that is, oh, she capping saying she don't know Meek. She
definitely heard of Meek.
And I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I barely be hearing this shit because I don't be listening. I be listening to podcasts, and I like the thing about it. I don't even know what song the line was on. The only way
it's a leaked song.
The only reason I caught wind of the fucking song was because it was all over the news. You know what I'm saying? Same as her. People sending it to her. Yo, did you know about? So it's like, my thing is, what is it that makes y'all believe that a wealthy Spanish mother of 4 that lives in the hills of California is riding around listening to Pain Away? Like, what makes you think that
they know the difference?
That Vanessa Bryant gets in the whip and says, "Cut on that cold-hearted too."
And
what is that?
And let's do this. People have to differentiate hearing something with being familiar with it.
Right.
I hear a lot of shit that I ain't familiar with.
I just found out that, did you know Drake had the song with the guy? I didn't even know. I would hear it all the time.
Young Blue.
It'd be like, I took you to the club and you hugged on somebody that I know.
Young Blue, yeah.
I
You're
heard
Still Mine.
this shit always will come. I just thought it was Drake's song because
Yeah.
and it's crazy because me and Rob was talking about this shit the other day. At this juncture, we're so removed from the daily goings ons
sure.
of hip hop, like new shit, to where it's like it take you a little minute just because you have a life, you have careers, you have jobs, you have wives, you have children, you have all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
So it take you a little. It's not like back in the day where we was glued to Funk Flex,
Right.
and glued to K Slay, and glued to Cosmic Kev. You're not living that life.
Yeah.
Dog, the other day, my man, he hit me about you, was like, yeah, I see your man Chad Party gonna be going up for his B-Day down ATL or whatever. And I was like, yeah, he apparently they got the boy Established G. And he was like, who the fuck is Established G? And I'm like, ain't that his ESTG or something? He was like, yeah, ES, the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, isn't that short for established? He was like, nigga, he was like, technically you're right, but no, I was like, I don't fucking know these
You're
people.
applying too much sense to this shit.
I don't fucking know.
This is niggas we talking about
I
here.
thought his name was like, he's an established G. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is me.
That's funny as
So I
shit,
could only
man.
imagine my stepmom and my,
Yeah.
like, they don't fucking know this shit. And my homie, he was dying. He was like,
Established G.
he was like, yo, in theory, that's actually high. He was like, you might have done something. I'm like, dog, I honestly thought his name was like ESTG, like I'm an established G.
Yeah,
That's what
no.
I thought the shit.
Yeah, it's an acronym. Everybody shine together.
Oh, I learned something new today. But my homie was like, you're actually right, and it makes sense.
But no.
Shout out, Bo. We was dying off of that shit the other
no.
day. But yeah, it's like, so I can't imagine that she would even know these, like, I just can't see her listening to Dream Chasers too.
Right.
Like, oh no, that RIP Lil Snoop go hard. Like, I love the RIP Lil Snoop, but I
Right.
can't assume that Vanessa Bryant's listening to this shit. So y'all that went to die on this hill of her listening to Meek Mill music is fucking insanity.
Number one,
that's what y'all got out of this situation.
She's not from our culture.
No.
She's not from our culture. Latin and Hispanic music, reggaeton, all of that is the biggest music in the world, bigger than hip hop. Believe it or not, guys. When you talk about like units moved,
The
impact,
biggest song
and all that.
ever is Despacio.
Yeah, and like
The second or third biggest song ever is Gasolina.
Yes.
Like, that's a fact.
they're both Daddy Yankee.
Yeah, like, that's a fact.
So it's like
Shaggy is still getting money.
Right, so it's like-
real shit.
So it's like if I have all this music, Bad Bunny, Ozuna, Annual AA, all this music that's
Gloria Estefan.
that's from my Selena, that's from my culture, that's huge, that's being marketed to me, that I'm coming across. Why would I jump over that and then jump over the biggest artist in the world, Drake, then jump over Lil Baby, who just had a motherfucking Super Bowl commercial, and then jump over all these big artists, and all right, Meek, Dreams and Nightmares, baby. And it's like people literally went as far as saying like, oh, well, you know, Kobe was an Eagles fan, and Dreams and Nightmares was, you know how much shit my girl be having on in the crib that I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yo.
And I live there.
Lee is like my buffer to find out like new to super new, because listen, I just found out who Fujiano was. And the only reason I found out was because they was playing it at the Gucci and Jeezy battle.
Yeah.
And I like when he be like, baby mama ain't shit. She won't let me see my son. I didn't know who the fuck this person
Right.
was. And it's just like, that's just the reality of it. Like, but again, it goes back to us being like, what goes on in our little world is the world, and it's not the reality.
People have such a narrow worldview and are so parochial that they think that whatever the fuck is going on in their immediate atmosphere is going on everywhere. And it's like I had to break it down for people on Twitter. I said, yo, y'all do know a triple platinum record represents less than 1% of the population.
Yeah.
So you can be successful, extremely successful, and I can totally not know who the fuck you are
Right.
on the same token.
Bingo.
Because I'm not subscribed to what you have going on. A diamond record is the pinnacle in music. That shit represents like 3% of the fucking population. You know what I'm saying? It's like shit like that people don't be having no perspective on to understand. It's like just because you like some shit, it might not be as big as you think it is just because you and your inner circle are partaking in this particular piece of culture. We got to understand that not everything that we like in black culture reaches the masses.
Yeah.
It's a very simple, a lot of shit.
A lot of shit. And that's not just from black culture, that's from everybody. Like,
exactly.
You could be the biggest opera singer in the world, and if you're not listening or checking for opera...
I know 9 Inch Nails is one of the biggest rock groups of all time. I don't know shit. I don't know no songs, not one. None.
Yeah.
I know that one video where they was spinning upside down and all that shit. I don't know the name of it though.
Like even when you watch the Grammys and you see who wins the Grammy for album of the year or song of the year, you be like, I never heard this. Like, not even trying to be funny.
80% of the time, you never heard of that shit.
I remember when Billie Eilish won for album of the year, and you was like, I've never heard of this person. And you was like, I'm gonna listen to the album because it won album of the year. You was like, all right, I'm 7 songs in. It's no slaps.
There's no slaps on this joint.
It's no slaps.
And I fuck with Billie Eilish because she's a supporter and an advocate for Black Lives Matter and black culture and all that. She's a real, like, an ally for black people. So I fuck with Billie Eilish. But that album of the year don't got no slappers on it.
You
not
see
one.
Her dog fucked up her Dior's and shit. The Dior
like,
ones.
Literally, like, E40 would not rap on none of that shit. It's no slappers on that joint.
Somebody the other day tweeted, who the fuck name was it in basketball? Who got a funny name?
Oh, they said, can you imagine E40 trying to say this name?
Yeah, what was the name though? When I saw it made me like really like say it in his voice.
Yeah.
That was what's so funny about it. I can't think of the name though. But yeah, the Meek with Vanessa shit, it just took such a hard left because it went from, was Meek drawling? Should the line have been said? You know, did Vanessa overreact to?
Oh, she capping. She heard.
And that
she
was
heard
where
Dreams and Nightmares before.
That was, and people were like, oh, that's a song for the Super Bowl, and it just be like, yeah. Like, yeah, I told you my dad was like, yeah, what's the song? I don't know who it is, but he keeps saying amen, and I'm like, oh, Meek Mill. He's like, I guess, but he's like, some amen, and I'm like, it's called amen. He's like, oh, okay, cool, I'll call you back. It's like, they don't listen to this shit, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, that was definitely strange. Pray for Meek. Pray again, him with the phone.
Dog, did you see that? I don't think we talked about this last time. He's in the 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine put him in the music video.
That happened after we did the whole John. The video came down though. Because
Meek's representation sued them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That's why it came down. Okay. It's a court order that got it taken down, saying it is improper use of his image and he didn't approve it and this and this. So, you out and about having a nice dinner or wherever the fuck you was, in Florida somewhere. You run into a rat who you've been bashing on social media for the last 6 months.
Bang.
You spit on said rat, allegedly spit on said rat, expecting that there would be no type of retaliation or anything would happen. He would just be a bitch ass rat and go back into his rat hole.
Bitch ass rat.
4, you come out of the restaurant from having your nice dinner and the rat pops out on you
with a camera crew.
With a camera crew and security that looks like me and Matt. The C team, and
it definitely looked like me, you, Dan, and Taylor. That's the funniest.
Like, is the Israeli guard available? No, all we got is Tariq and them.
No, we got TRPE though. They ain't got nothing going on. All right.
Who do we have that can move Tekashi around South Florida? Preferably Russian.
Yo, real shit.
So he pops out on you out of the shadows with a camera phone, sticks a phone in your face, spit Pooh Shiesty lyrics at you, calls you a bitch, and all this old hip shit. Then he posts it on social media. The shit goes viral. He's smart enough to say, let me take this down. I got a better purpose for this video. Puts it in his music video that was on pace to get 200 million views, clowning you, calling you a bitch, this, and this. Meanwhile, you're on social media talking about why he chose me when you allegedly spit on the man and been having a one-way beef with him for months on social media. Then for you to turn around and hire a legal team to get the video removed because he's bullying you on the internet.
It's crazy.
When you allegedly spit on him and you were bullying him on the internet, including the Clubhouse John with DJ Academics, where you said me and Dirk planned, plotted, and strategized to finish 6ix9ine, and then the Drake record was the final nail in the coffin, and somehow, some way, you're confused as to why this rat is on your ass.
You know the craziest part about the whole? Did you see the video?
Yes.
The song 6ix9ine in the song said "Free the guys," and I'm like, "This
You set the guys up.
2021 is crazy." Oh, this is the wildest shit
You the reason the
I've
guys
ever
is booked. Nigga's a maniac.
A federal informant dropped a rap record where he said "Free the guys." I was like, "Yo, what, man?"
Like, it's like, and for my next trick, what type of fucking David Blaine, Magic Kreskin shit is this?
I just realized. Now I'm about to saw this bitch in half.
And for my next trick, I'm going to free the guys. Like, what, bitch?
I put the guys in there, but watch how I get the asses out of there.
Fucking Danny, man. This motherfucker's the world's most interesting man by far. Like,
Free the guys.
he's a rat piece of shit, but he has not lost any entertainment value whatsoever through this
No,
whole
I was telling T
situation.
and them, like, he was playing did you see Trump came out at the rally yesterday?
No.
He came out and hinted at him like running again in 2024. The crowd went crazy, and I'm like, I ain't gonna hold you, man. I miss ball. Like I
No
miss,
cap. Missed the shit out this nigga.
like his voice and the bullshit, the silly shit. Like I miss.
I had a
hearing
tweet
him.
the other day. I said, man, we really elected Biden. His tweets don't even slap.
I'm like, yo, his tweets stinking, ain't giving up no bread. Like
he
this
don't
is.
got no bangers on Twitter.
Somebody the other day tweeted was like, is it just me or has CNN been corny since Trump left? I'm like, dog. What are you about to play? Are you about to play?
To each and every one of you here at CPAC, I am more grateful to you than you will ever know. We are gathered this afternoon to talk about the future of our movement, the future of our party, and the future of our beloved country. For the next 4 years, the brave Republicans in this room will be at the heart of the effort to oppose the radical Democrats, the fake news media, and their toxic cancel culture. Something new to our ears, cancel culture. And I want you to know that I'm going to continue to fight right by your side. We will do what we've done right from the beginning, which is to win. We're not starting new parties. You know, they kept saying, he's going to start a brand new party. We have the Republican Party. It's going to unite and be stronger than ever before. I am not starting a new party. Actually, as you know, they just lost the White House, but it's one of those things. But who knows? Who knows? I may even decide to beat them for a third time, okay?
Trump is psychotic, man. It's like I miss him. Like I genuinely miss him. He said, yeah, they didn't win this last one, but you know, they won. You know what I'm saying?
He like the uncle that stole your bike when you was a young boy and sold it, but he also like helped you lose your virginity.
Yeah.
It's like this nigga's wildly inappropriate, but he looks out at the same time.
Yo, real shit, man. Trump, Biden was talking about the relieving of the student debt, but only for people who didn't go to Ivy League schools. Rod was like, I'm getting a MAGA hat. Rod went to Pitt. Rod like, I'm getting a MAGA hat. This motherfucker goes for this. Like, what? Like, yeah, he like, I'm going to relieve student loans, but only for people who didn't go to Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
I guess saying, like, if you went there, you should be doing good enough to not care. But it's just like, nah, dog, like, you could easily have $300,000-$400,000 in student loan debt and be paying $1,200 a month. You know, like where somebody else is paying $400 a month for a less educated. Like that's a wild game. That's like 1.7 trillion.
The whole thing is that the legislation is already in place. Like all they got to do is just sign this
All
shit.
they got to do is just give a fucking
Just
stroke
sign
of
this
the
shit. I
pen.
got 53,000. Just sign it, bro. Just fucking sign it, yeah.
Have you been into the Shmurda situation?
Yes, I've been following it closely, like
Okay.
a field reporter.
Okay.
So Bobby Shmurda got out.
He looks tired.
He's exhausted.
He looks it.
They treating Bobby Shmurda like a show pony. Like they like, oh, have you? Sylvia Rone's like, hey, have you seen my Bobby Shmurda?
Yo.
She's bringing him out at every fucking thing that they can, yo. This nigga got on the PJ, surrounded by Quavo, his brother, and some random white women's. The white women's apparently are white queens, though, because they held him down through the bid. I saw a picture of them when he was in jail, so they get a pass.
Okay.
So these are not new white women. These are white women from before.
Okay.
So, Quavo picked him up on the PJ just like he said he was. He came to New York. And Sylvia Rome was there, and then Karen Civil, who's Olivia Pope, worked her way in the mix somehow, and just a bunch of people that Bobby Shmurda's probably never seen before, motherfuckers that definitely didn't come see him during his bid, other than Quavo, and it's just one of them situations where it's like we talked about it in the group chat the other night, and it's basically like one of them situations where like, because Rob was basically like, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, are they going to really support him? And I'm just like, they have to. Like, New York City on the whole, that whole New York City power structure had to support him in this way because Pop Smoke's dead. You just had a fucking rat running around for the last year and a half calling himself the fucking king of New York. Like, there's a whole stain on the city from
Casanova's away.
So it's like, if you're looking for a fucking superhero, who the fuck is this? Like, they had to get behind Bobby Shmurda. They didn't have a choice. So it's like, what the music gonna sound like, we're gonna figure that out later. But just the imagery of Bobby Shmurda is creating an economic boom in the city of New York and others now. They just Alex Gidewan, AG Entertainment, just announced he got Bobby Shmurda and Meek Mill for his Saturday party at the Dome in Atlanta, All-Star Weekend. Yeah. So can you imagine what that shit is going to be like?
Somebody the other day randomly, it was Steve Nash to James Harden. Yeah, you didn't make the All-Star team as a starter. And it was like Harden, oh, that's cool. I ain't even really worried about it this year anyway. And Steve Nash was like, yeah, well, you might get in as a reserve. He was like, yeah, like I said, I ain't really worried about it. And it was Steve Nash, it's in Atlanta. And then it was Harden dribbling with like Cyclops eyes. And the screen was all blurry, like he was going faster than everybody.
I was talking to my homie, my man Louis V. Gut. I was talking to him a couple, like when Harden first got traded, and I was like, yo, this nigga is in Brooklyn, New York. In New York metropolitan area, period, with $500 million and no responsibility. Yeah. Can you imagine the debauchery that's going on before and after the fucking games right now with that nigga? Yeah.
Seriously. But I saw they put a billboard up of Shmurda on the Madison Square Garden. Yeah. Him and Rowdy Rebel were with each other the other day for the first time. I don't know why everybody was making a big deal out of him not drinking. Like,
he just said he's still on federal parole. Like,
yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's like this is what he's supposed to be doing.
They fucking broke think pieces about it. No, that brother's staying focused.
I was just like,
he's
what?
Like, no, I want it. I want the Henny. I want the Henny Rock. I can't drink this shit. I don't want to go back though. Like, I don't want to get out and go back.
So when you get released from federal, is that like a stipulation that
it can be? It can be
that you just can't drink,
can't indulge in nothing.
Damn. But yeah, when I seen that, I was.
That's why a lot of times, like niggas are straight up be like, man, just let me walk my time off. Like niggas don't be wanting fed parole like that. They be like, man, just keep me.
That was an area. I need breathalyzer test every time you walk in there.
Hey.
Yeah, shit ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? You out, but it's like,
don't do nothing.
Don't do shit.
Yeah.
I'm in here with Pablo and shit though, you know what I'm saying? He said he gonna hook me up with the bricks when I get home. He can tell me some Colombian stories. I can just chill for 6 more months. Like,
yeah, real shit. Hey.
So Bobby Shmurda's taking his tour to Atlanta this coming Saturday.
And do you think the music will be able to?
It's hard to say, man. I mean, you know
that skit with the Bobby bitch.
I felt
that
on the
was
floor.
The funniest shit ever.
He said, "This is the remix. This is Murder, bitch."
He's like, no, we need new shit. He's like,
original shit.
He's like, play a new beat. He put on like a new up-tempo beat. It's Bobby bitch. They just all walked out of the studio. Like, yeah.
Bobby would have been set up better on a if Pop Smoke was alive.
Yeah.
With
Casanova out.
With Casanova out, and he would have came home to that.
It would have created like a
Brooklyn
power structure.
Music scene.
Yeah.
They would have had but now he got to build the shit back up from the ground.
Basically got to cook it up from scratch.
From ground up. Because it would have been perfect because they were using a sound that he popularized and then they evolved it somewhere else. Right. Where they added the grime elements and the drill shit and this and this and this. And they made it commercialized to where it was accepted and people
I saw
were
a video the other day. I
music.
know it's old because Casanova is like actively in it and shit. But it's like they're Bloods. And the video was done with like Crips.
Yeah.
And they're like battling back and forth almost like they're dancing in front of each other.
Yeah.
The shit was actually like
shit was fly,
it was turned up a little bit. But the line that fucked me up, he was like, I fuck with 50, not Kanan. I'll explain that. Tariq a rat. Send that nigga. Where his sister at? I was like, yeah, this music be so aggressive. It's funny. I fuck with 50, not Kanan. I'll explain that. Tariq a rat. Send that nigga. Where his sister at? And it's like, yeah, it was him and like some Crip nigga. They was going back and forth.
I just hope that, the main thing that Bobby need to understand, like, it looks like he got a boatload of money from somewhere, from Epic Records or wherever the fuck. And I have a whole thing about a beef with Epic Records about how they handled him.
Let's get into it. Like, L.A. Reid straight was like, no.
There's nothing I can do for you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my hands are tied. There's nothing. You can't send Benjamin Brofman down this motherfucker. Nothing. You can't do shit. I can't get involved in a federal investigation. Then L.A. Reid gets fired because he was apparently showing his dick to every bitch that worked in the fucking record label. And now he got another label distributed by the same parent as Epic. Yeah. The music industry, ladies and gentlemen.
Crazy as shit.
Hey man, I know you was pulling your dick out on bitches had the silk slippers on and shit like that. Come over to RCA. We're gonna give you a new label, a little boutique joint.
Yeah.
Give me a little 30 million. Like, the music industry stinks because they just been recycling the same players for the last 42 years.
That shit is nuts, man.
And L.A. Reid is a fantastic record, man, contrary to popular belief. That motherfucker wrote for TLC, fucking signed Outkast, all that shit. But L.A. Reid is a deviant.
Yeah, they all are.
That motherfucker straight. The one boy, what was his name? Charlie Wack.
Charlie Wack. Dame always go at him.
Charlie Wack. He pulled his dick out on everybody.
Yeah.
The whole office.
Harvey Weinstein had a "I'm gonna pull my dick out" fund.
Listen, man.
Like, look.
Listen.
Hey,
I
yo.
don't particularly anticipate getting caught because, like, I'm Harvey Weinstein. These bitches want to get in these movies. But if I do, $3 million and fucking.
You know what that meeting had to be
out.
like with like his financial planner? Like, so you want to put some money into like CDs or T-bills? Nah,
not exactly.
I just want to put some money in a separate fund for like, shutting these bitches the fuck up when they come around.
If you hear a story about me putting my nuts on a bitch ear at the Mondrian Hotel at 4 a.m, feel free to tap into this account as opposed to my account. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Indiscriminately. But make sure they sign the NDA.
That shit is crazy, man. Jay-Z. More Brooklyn talk. Brooklyn. Hello.
Yeah, Hova Man made another big deal this past week. He sold half of Armand de Brignac, aka Ace of Spade, better known BKA Ace of Spade, better known as Ace of Spade Champagne, 50% to the LVMH group for $250 million. For 50% stake into the company. They're going to provide him with their global platform distribution and all of that. So basically, like now where you got to drive to 42 liquor stores to find Ace of Spade, now you're going to be able to go wherever the fuck they sell Moet at in Henny. It's right there. Yeah. So what I'm interested to see is, are they going to lower the price point at all? Which it didn't seem like it when I watched the market announcement. The video Jay was on with the one of the chairmen from Moet. It didn't seem like it because they were really like stoked about this like premium champagne space or whatever like that. And I'm
just reading what you put in the notes. Stop the Jay-Z think pieces every time he walks to the store. He doesn't do the internet or speak to y'all for a reason. It's because y'all weird as shit. The Jay think pieces are absolutely
every
insane,
time he do anything.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. The weirdest one was the credit John that I saw the other day.
Yeah.
Did you see that? He's partnering to do a basically like a utilization thing that they do for credit where you can up your credit from things that aren't necessarily on your...
from like apps and stuff like that.
Basically, yeah. And when I saw that, I'm like, so Experian boost, basically, is what the fuck we're doing. You know what I'm saying? As Jay-Z. The what's this tweet about you got in here?
Oh, that was
This.
Oh, it's this is one of the fucking think piece Jones. It's so the fucking tweet said it's powerful how Jay-Z unapologetically changed the narrative of what professional hair is in the corporate world, and I'm just like, that never happened. Like,
I don't think Jay did that.
like he's a billionaire already. When he started growing that shit, he was at worth at least 700, 800 million.
Yeah.
He looks ridiculous. On top of that. And when they're calling you to do business, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Why is this a thing where it's like he single-handedly changed the narrative? No, he didn't.
It's like, let your ass go into a job interview with that shit like
They're
that.
like, so you gonna cut that dusty ass mop off your fucking head? Or no? Like, you can try it. When you're your own boss, you can do whatever the fuck you want. That's the benefit of being your own boss and your own brand.
Right.
The nigga could dye that fucking dust mop white if he want to. Ain't nobody gonna say shit.
Right.
Because he's who he is already.
Bingo.
You already gave us volume 2 in fucking Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't see that or understand that at all. That was
These people are nuts, yo.
None of these other topics I really care about. The Honeycomb Brazy shit is kind of wild.
Bruh.
It's like
This nigga is unsuccessfully beefing with the whole city.
So little backdrop to the story. Are they Alabama?
Alabama.
So Alabama.
I think it's Montgomery, Alabama.
Alabama's a wild place.
Yes.
Arkansas, all that shit.
Underserved, underprivileged, all of that shit. Back road, country town, dirt roads, the whole shit.
This was the only part of it that really like just kind of like not intrigued, but kind of more so perplexed me a little bit.
Yeah.
So basically, this young nigga's like wild, just been wilding out, getting into shit.
Yes.
You know, just his whole life basically.
And he's been claiming all his wreck too, on top of
That's the wild. I saw that he did like a live. He was like, "Yeah, I shot some niggas over there," and then I went to jail for this one murder.
And I paralyzed this one nigga.
Yeah, like, this shit is wild. But the part that blew my mind a little bit, me and Black, shout out Black, we was talking about it. So the story that blew up and made him like national nigga news was his grandparents' house got shot up.
Yes.
And the story was his grandparents' house got shot up and then they set the house on fire.
Yeah.
And, of course, everybody reacted like, what the fuck did you do? What beef do you got going on that somebody came to your grandparents' house, shot the house up, and then set the house on fire, killing your grandparents in the joint? He put out a statement, was like, no, see, y'all got this shit all wrong, and I hate the fact that y'all be assuming. And so when I saw that, I thought it was going to be, oh, this story is fake.
It's completely fake.
He was like, yeah, y'all running on this bullshit, and no, this shit ain't happen like that. They shot the house up, and both my grandparents was on oxygen. So when they shot the house up, the oxygen tanks burst, and that's how the house caught on fire. And I'm like, this doesn't. I was like, what?
This didn't make it any better.
I was like, I swore when I saw the beginning of the statement, it was going to be like, no, this is false. This didn't. And it was like, so they're dead. Like the house got shot up, and I'm just like, what, man?
And then a wilder part of the story is somebody allegedly involved FaceTimed him while the shit was going on so he could see it. And there's a screen capture floating around from the FaceTime of him with like his face dropped as he's watching his crib burn to the ground.
Like what?
So apparently, got some backstory from somebody from Montgomery. So apparently he's beefing with like the biggest drug dealer in the city who also is like a rat. But the nigga is like super rich, and he just been putting money. That's why he gets shot every week. He just keep putting money on this nigga head. 400,000, 100,000. Like just various shooters are looking for this nigga. So I guess they finally got tired of looking for him. They say, "Oh, cool, we just gonna kill your family instead. We tired of looking for you." But he allegedly killed this drug dealer's cousin, and that's what's like 3 years ago, and that's what started the whole beef. So now he gets shot at every week.
Yeah, I don't have time for none of that.
He's living a terrible life.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's like he's signed to Jay Prince, so it's like at some point the old man is going to have to try to like get involved and,
come do a hip hop uncovered
and try to like figure this shit out on behalf of you, because it seems like you're on an island.
Yeah.
Going against a nation of people. And that doesn't usually work out too good.
Shooting your grandparents' house up is never like, that's just wild. Like, you gotta be ready for the shit you get into, man.
Without a doubt.
Man. Yeah, that when I seen the let me get y'all straight, Joe, I'm just like, this didn't help anything, man.
This helped nothing.
Oh, you want to tell them about what we about to do with the Judas and the Black Messiah?
Yeah, real quick though, before we do that, we got an ad today, some makeup ad from before. Okay.
That is not part of that. That was not
perfect fucking timing.
I'm about to say, damn, that cue is on.
I just opened my phone. I was on the reels on Instagram. That shit just happened. My fault.
Holy shit.
That was perfect.
Special shout out to author, writer, Steph Ox, who's a big supporter of the show. We were actually supposed to run this ad a little bit ago, but production delays and all of that stuff.
Her book just came out the other day.
So the bedtime series. So this ad is sponsored by author Steph Ox on behalf of the bedtime series. You can get signed copies directly from Steph Ox on the author's site, thebedtimeseries.com. The book is also available on Amazon in the United States, Canada, and the UK, ebook, Kindle, valorbooks.com, and Abe Books in the UK. Again, make sure you go to thebedtimeseries.com. Make sure you check out the latest children's book from author Steph Ox, who has sponsored the show before. She's a huge supporter of TRPE, so make sure you go and get that now.
Yeah, she was selling books in Africa, everywhere.
Doing her thing.
Okay, you want to tell?
We got an announcement.
That was when we needed the dun.
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
So probably like 2 weeks ago, I kind of like flirted with the idea that we should do a Patreon. And it's basically based on the fact that there's some content that is not appropriate for the masses, but because perspective matters. But our supporters, our real supporters, the people that buy VIP tickets, the people that we talk to week about, all things TRP and all of that, understand us and get where we're coming from so we can like operate in a judgment-free zone.
Right.
So with that being said, we are officially launching a Patreon account effective tomorrow. Our first piece of content will be on there, and it is patreon.com/official TRPE, same as all our social media and all of that. And we're going to have 3 different tiers of patrons on there. The first tier is going to be $2.15 from the 215, and that's going to be the donation plus tier. At this tier, you're going to basically be supporting the infrastructure and the scaling of the show, $2.15 a month. But you also do get one piece of bonus content every single month. That could be an audio pod, that could be a video pod. It might be sometimes it's going to be an audio and a video pod. Something additional that is never going to touch
our actual feed.
On iTunes or YouTube or Google or none of that shit. So that's the donation plus. The second tier is the TRPE Nation tier, $8.24 a month, because Kobe Bryant is our favorite athlete of all time. At this tier, you're going to get way more content, way more access to TRPE. You're going to be able to submit questions to us for like topic discussions and stuff that we can talk about on air. You're going to get 2 pieces of bonus, a minimum of 2 pieces of bonus content per month. Sometimes it'll be more. That could be a video pod, an audio pod, something custom that, me and Matt just cook up real quick and just throw out there. That's just maybe like a conversation piece or some type of, something that we spark interest from on our group chat and throw that out there. At the final tier, I want to make sure I'm stating this correctly. And on the final tier is going to be the TRPE VIP tier. $20.21 per month. That's going to get you access to literally everything. There's something called AMAs, which is Ask Me Anythings. Y'all can submit Ask Me Anythings I gotta if it's on social media, I gotta respond to you. If it's on Patreon, we put the content up, whatever like that. You're gonna get a minimum of 4 additional pieces of content every single month, 4 original pieces of content, which basically equates to like 1 additional podcast a week, anywhere between 30 to 60 minutes in additional content every single week on our Patreon page only. And if we do something, sometimes it's going to be audio only, sometimes it'll be video only, sometimes it'll be both. You'll get both, and that don't care if it's 2 and we promise you 1 a week. That doesn't count towards your overall 4 for the month. We're going to give you something original every single week for the people that subscribe to this tier. You're also going to get early access to any type of shows. And when we go Patreon live at this tier, you get that additional content on top of the additional 4 to 8 pieces of content every single month. So this whole thing is to give us a way to connect with our audience, talk about some of the more like racier topics that we don't necessarily get to talk about on our regular feed.
The shit we don't want to get banned for.
Exactly. So this is literally, what you get. So again, for the TRPE VIP, $2.21 a month. At the TRPE VIP tier, our absolute top supporters will receive unprecedented access to Chad and Matt. At this tier, there is early access to ticket sales and all future live events. Patrons also get a minimum of 4 bonus video episodes per month, behind the scenes content access, shout outs on monthly TRP episodes, monthly AMAs, which is Ask Me Anything, live stream events, and much, much more. And again, those content pieces, monthly AMAs, bonus episodes, behind the scenes content, exclusive content, patron shout out, early ticket access, live event VIP, live streams, fan requests, and live chat also, which will be all Patreon exclusives. At the TRPE Nation tier, $8.24, Mamba Forever, you get tons of bonus content, previously unprecedented access, a minimum of 2 pieces of bonus content per month, which is basically like equate to like 1 every other week, behind the scenes content, and shout outs on monthly TRP episodes. So, subscribing here, as opposed to, you sponsoring the show, whatever, we'll shout you out on our regular TRP episodes and any type of Patreon content that we put together. And then at the beginning tier, which is just a donation, $2.15 per month, you get to subscribe to the feed, additional support for the show, 1 piece of bonus content per month. Now, the reason why we wanted to do the Patreon where it's all additional content and not like the corny shit that everybody else is doing where they just I'm going to hold this and then give it to you a week early on Patreon. Like, we don't want to do that. This is going to be all additional original content. Every single Monday, we're still dropping our regular 2-hour TRPE episode. In addition to that, you're going to, if you subscribe at either the TRP Nation or TRPE VIP tier, you're going to get anywhere between 2 to 4 additional pods every single month, which is 1 every other week or 1 every single week, 30 to 60 minutes on top of what we already give you for free on all of the other podcast networks.
Yeah. So the first one we're doing
is an exclusive movie review of Judas and the Black Messiah.
We're going to discuss the movie, the soundtrack, everything. Everything
surrounding it, and also how it plays into some other historical things as it relates to like the black community. There's a Billie Holiday film that's out right now on Hulu. Very similar story, and it just kind of shows like the way that black people that were trying to help move the movement forward and were about civil rights were constantly infiltrated, targeted, and all of that. And we're going to get into very super specific detail on that review. That's going to be our first piece of content, which will be up Tuesday on our Patreon account. That's patreon.com/official TRPE.
Bingo. You got anything else for this?
No, not really. My birthday weekend, we touched on it briefly, coming up March 12th through the 14th in Atlanta. You can get tickets right now at Casino Weekend 2021 ATL.com. I know that's long as hell. Casino Weekend 2021 ATL.com. Friday night, we got Pooh Shiesty and Shay Mack. Saturday night, ESTG, DJ Self.
Established G, baby.
Established G, DJ Self, and Dream Doll.
Did you see the video? I guess he's trying to be the young boy's manager. He a rapper in New York. And the boy was like, yo, let me be your manager. He's like, what can you do for me? He's like, I'll get you on the radio tonight. I'll walk right up to DJ Self and punch him in the face.
They in front of, you see the projects in the background. It's like, yeah, this is appropriate. So Saturday night.
That's really how motherfuckers look at the music game. Like, I'm just muscle my way in.
Like, no, this is security. You need a key card scanner.
Yeah.
Access. No, you're not. So yeah, Saturday day party, Magic City, Gigi McGuire and Indiana. Saturday night at Club Vivid, we have ESTG, CMG signing party, Dream Doll, DJ Self. Sunday brunch at Garden Park, and then Sunday night finale at the all new Uncut Atlanta with Rocky, the hometown hero, at Fake Bitches Hero, and DJ Drama and DJ Active. So packed weekend of events, 6 parties. You get access to all 6 parties right now for $100 if you buy the early bird pass. After that, when they sell out, they're gonna be $200. If y'all need tables and all of that, y'all can hit me on IG at plus.co, aka Plusio.
Plusio. Don't hit Matt makes me sick, because I will take your money and
Matt will,
you will
Matt
not
will
get a ticket. Yeah.
Matt will really make you sick if you hit Matt and give him a deposit.
All right, we out. We're gonna knock out this Judas and the Black Messiah joint, and that's it.
Bong.